Oh, hi, Phantom. I hope you're doing well. Captions are back on. Not using those. I forgot to turn. Need to have my app on. There we go. Okay, but we are going to be continuing with Higurashi. Um, Pretty sure I've. Okay, yeah. Dokali dokali. Oh, on. Sound. Yes. Yes, we have cicadas. Cry of the Higurashi. Cries of the Higurashi chat. Continue. Okay. And so recap, because definitely been a bit. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, um, we had uh, our protagonist Keiichi, and Shion, as well as no Takano one. I think that's the nurse. I can't remember can't remember for sure what the camera guy's name is. Um, but yeah, so while the Watanagashi festival was going on, or the cotton purification or whatever dance was going on, uh, they had snuck off, entered the storage shrine, call it. Let's just call it that. Um, where all the where they kept a number of old like ritual enshrine a bunch of like just ritual implements and stuff like that. So they went in, and then they find out the basically they're all stuff tied to uh apparent supposedly according to Kano, tools tied to the dissecting and apparently like cooking of like individuals that apparently was done that supposedly was done historically in Inamizawa. So then they left. Um, Ichi went joined back with his friends, his group of friends, and yeah, the festival ended it, and then that's the end of that chapter. So we did get some tips. Find out what those are. Scrapbook. Or, which I'm guessing these might be from Light to Come. Not 100%, but it doesn't say. Watanagashi. The rite of Watanagashi is performed during a village festival every June. You don't even know. But reading back to its origins turned up a seriously sanguine ceremony. Originally, Watanagashi would happen at fixed intervals, and after receiving Oyashiro-sama's trust, they chose a sacrifice. Then, the entire village would kidnap, demon away, the person and ceremonially dissect and devour them in a feast. The rules that determine the intervals are shrouded in mystery. This is because the ceremonies occurred extremely irregularly. There's a theory that it was determined based on astrological fortune-telling, but it isn't too convincing. The residents of ancient Onigafuchi village firmly believed that they were half-human, half-demon transcendents, and that they were more valuable than humans were, and they forced people within and without to accept that. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher up on the food chain. This is just a hypothesis, but maybe the rite of Watanagashi was a political event for the purpose of either being an outlet for or outright diverting the attention of the villagers of the isolated Onagafuchi village. In case of their complaints or dissatisfactions grew serious. That was the main reason these ceremonies were held, and it's easy to explain how erratic they were. Scrapbook entry. The alleged importance of the implement. Can't find anything that gives a concrete description on what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and there definitely existed a multitude of different kinds. One source states that the implements used in the Watanagashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question then is, why they required such a myriad of them? The rite of Watanagashi was to kidnap people through the demoning way, dissect them, and eat them. I believe the tools were for dissection and restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such a way as to reach a solution for a certain problem. Once you've reached the ultimate goal, that is, attained a certain level of efficiency, the tool's evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why would they have created so many different kinds? One of the cultural elements responsible for diversification over time is that of entertainment. Tools used to entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, reaching the ultimate goal would be more of a dead end, and in searching for the next goal, they would split into many different subtypes. So then perhaps it's not a stretch to suggest these 200 plus implements had some entertainment value. This is just a hypothesis, of course. Maybe the human dissection process was viewed as a type of entertainment. The three families of old would develop one new implement, dissection tool, after another, and each was varied, novel, and attracted spectators to keep them from growing bored. It's not unimaginable. All of them would have to be enshrined with that storehouse. There isn't much longer until the night of the Watanagashi. While its original intent has been lost, to reveal the secrets of the traditional ceremonial night in the ritual storehouse. Can't restrain my excitement. Watanagashi cannot come soon enough. It's after the festival. Late that night, tensions in the police station were strained. Oh no. Not these losers again. In the silence, many of the staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and their telephones, counting the seconds in that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya-kun burst in with a young guy trailing behind him. Oishi-san, I've got the autopsy results. The court physician just got here. I'm ready to go, sir. I'll head straight for Gifu. Uma-chan, things have gotten a bit complicated. They appear to be having a very difficult time determining who the victim is. They have been dismembered? Nope. Cooked to a nice light brown. He spoke in sportive tones, but the meaning behind his words was heavy. The staff gave a collected sigh. All the way? Head to toe? Completely blackened, it seems. Probably smells terrible, too. A shame it has to be Kifu-san. Cooked, with no possessions, then discarded outside the prefecture. Worst, it would have taken a week for the body to be identified. The fact that they sniffed it out tonight was huge. Miyama-kun and a few others are performing a thorough night raid on the dentist in Inomiya. All we can hope is the tooth matches some medical records. Sorry. Someone buy me 2 or so boxes of Ultramild? The young guy answered an affirmation and darted out into the hallway. Did an excellent job finding it this year. Could be that the people who disappeared in past years were scattered outside the prefecture like this too. Why not bury them? Or sink them into the Sea of Japan, or Lake Biwa, or somewhere like that? Why though? Hasn't the pattern so far been one person dies and another disappears? Uma-chan. The corpse was inside an oil drum, unrestrained and cooked. They probably burned them after strangling them. They knew it would be found. So, what you mean is, from the beginning, they didn't want a person to disappear this year? Not so much that as they just aren't related. The person didn't disappear. In fact, whoever did it seemed to have wanted to make a show of it. You mean, could have been a warning? He folded his arms and then heaved a long and heavy sigh. Might have been the case had it happened in town. They'd messed it up, taking the victim far away and burning them alive when it had been noticed. If it meant as a warning, they should have done it closer to Hinamizawa. Wanted to emphasize the fact that they killed the victim. Instead of doing it somewhere for dramatic effect, they did it outside the prefecture. They want to emphasize it or hide it. Boy, you wonder what Oyashiro-sama is up to this year. A telephone ring cut through the heavy silence. A staff member nearby snatched up the receiver. Oishi-san, it's Komiyama. I have it. The dental clinic in Okinomiya fixed the wisdom tooth 3 years ago. What about the records? Complete with x-rays. Well, feel bad for waking up the dentist before dawn. Uma-chan, get out there as soon as you get the records from Miyama-kun. Will do. Oh, it's the chief. Thank you for coming out at this hour. Son, my apologies for my lateness. What's the situation? Well, it's just getting good, you see. We're all getting fired up. Haha. Ooh, so someone got cooked. US one died. Apparently, though, we'll find out the identity of the person fairly quick. Or at least probably this chapter, maybe. Start the chapter proper. I let out a great big yawn. Like morning had arrived just as I got to sleep. Mom set up breakfast. She gave me a pained smile. What's the matter, Keiichi? What time did you go to sleep last night? Well, I wanted to go to sleep at midnight, but I had some trouble with that. Probably all worked up from the festival. Oh, that's not it. Crunch, crunch. I crunched down hard on the pickled radish to hide my embarrassment. After all that happened yesterday, and our discussion about the sound Shion heard. That banging noise, like a child far away jumping up and down on a wooden floor. The story wouldn't get out of my head, so I had trouble sleeping. It was a long night. I kept jumping at the slight sounds of faraway tree branches. Should have been either unhearable or too insignificant to notice. When I woke up to the morning sunlight and birds chirping, it made me feel pretty ashamed about it, but I felt far from refreshed this morning. Kiichi-kun, good morning. Huh? Kiichi-kun, your eyes are all red. Why is that? Why? Oh, hey, good morning. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm sleep deprived today. Ugh. The festival yesterday was a lot of fun. Reina's excitement took a long time to go to sleep. So I took a long time to go to sleep too. To sleep. In Reina's case, her excitement seemed to still be wide awake. I should have this kind of festival more often, so we can have lots of fun together again. Oh. Yeah. Reina talking about the festival yesterday made me remember everything I'd nearly forgotten from last night. The inside of the ritual storehouse had been so utterly different from the relaxed, bright everyday life of Hinamizawa. All those stories that Takano-san told me too. Mysterious incidents that occurred on the day of the Watanagashi festival every year. Strange incidents where one person would die and one would disappear. The old stories of Hinamizawa flickering like a candle behind them. The numerous and horrifying traditions of Onigafuchi village. The villagers with demon blood in them. Terrible cannibalistic feasts. Poor sacrifices kidnapped from human villages. Victims of the Onikakushi. To quell the rage of Oyashiro-sama, the ritual involving living sacrifices. There's also many, many others. There were so many stories that just remembering them put me in a foul mood. Most of them weren't fiction either. They were true. We didn't need to fear them just because they were real, though, since it all happened so long ago. Such a very long time ago. A long, long time ago. Who knows? Not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the Keiichi who stored into the storehouse. Sorry, the game The game set me up. There we go. I spoke wicked words. Where's Michan? She's late. Huh? Before I realized it, we arrived at the place where we usually meet with Mion. Probably because I was lost in thought. We agreed that if she isn't here by now, we can just go on ahead, right? Should we? Mion being late wasn't too rare an occurrence, but today she was unusually late. The ominous tales from the night before came back to life in my mind again. Who would die this year? And who would disappear? It couldn't have been Mion. What should we do, Keiichi-kun? If we don't get going, we'll be late. She'll be here. She didn't call to tell us she'd be staying home today, right? Let's just wait 5 more minutes, okay? Rena looked at her watch and seemed a little worried, but then she nodded with a satisfied smile. If we had to wait 5 minutes, we'd have to run as fast as we could to school or we'd be late. As soon as I thought that, we spotted Mion running towards us out of breath. Michan, you're late! Y'all waited? You should have just gone on ahead. Rena was breathing heavily and her face was all red. Her house was right down this road, wasn't it? Wasn't far enough for it to end up like this, was it? Michan, not feeling well? Huh? Now that you mentioned it, Reina pushed Mion's bangs away and put her hand to her forehead. Reina, your hand is pretty cold. Michan, you're a little bit warm. It's no big deal. Give it half a day and I'll be fit as a fiddle. Are you really okay? You don't have to push yourself, you know. What's this? Hey, Chan, are you worried about me? Huh, that's nice of you. An answer wasn't like Mion at all. You must have had it pretty bad. I just think you shouldn't push yourself so hard. We can tell the teacher you had to take the day off. I'm fine. I took some medicine. I think it's already working. Mion forced an energetic expression onto her face and flexed her biceps at us. Okay then, let's go. Don't overdo it, but of course there's a time. What? We need to run or we won't make it. This morning sure is thrilling. Maybe it's just when I need to shake off this slowness. Let's run. Better get ready to run, 'cause here we come. Wait, you're sick. Don't go overboard. Mion began to run vigorously anyway. Michan is older than us, right? She knows her own body better than anyone. I decided to leave it at that and assume she was fine. Great, then we should get going too. We began to run after Mion. School looked the same as always. The hours passed listlessly and my lack of sleep took its toll. There was a sport where people competed by sleeping. I'd be world champion right now. The trick to overcoming this sort of dangerous situation was to hold your pencil upside down. Why, you ask? Well, you don't draw strange patterns all over your notes while half asleep. If you were holding your pencil upside down, that wouldn't happen, would it? Bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump, bump. Something that felt like an eraser hit me in the head 6 times. What was that for, Satoko? I haven't done a single thing. Who else would play a prank like me on this, like this? Oh. It was chalk, not an eraser. Eh? Teachers met him. Behind me, like a female outlaw might hold razors, was the teacher's shadow, holding 3 pieces of chalk in each hand. Grumble, grumble, grumble. My Barakun. Go and wash your face. Right, gladly. That alone was enough to wake me up, but I flew out in the hallway, as if shoved out by the pressure exuded by the teacher's sheer power. Hi, chicken. Why the trigger warning? Well, because the game does have, like, you know, all the horror elements and stuff like that, so I have that up there. Just for folks that may not realize this is a horror game, French. So it doesn't really look at it sometimes, and then it takes that, you know, major turn. So the in-between little story notes already informed us that apparently someone was cooked. Well, I think they were strangled first, but then they were cooked and chunked into an oil can. Chicken is a person of sheer determination and focused will. Oh, but who could ignore you? Patsy chicken. Pat, 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 pat. I don't know have a way to pet the... I don't have a way to pet, do I? I don't. I don't, yeah. Um, I got that. That's... Glad the overlay thing is working smoothly today. I was going to wash my face anyway, and I would rather use the sinks out front rather than the ones in the dark restroom. Thinking that, I left the hallway and went to the entrance. Oh, thank you for the head pat. The sunlight was strong, so strong you wouldn't think it was June. I turned the faucet, and with a lifeless bubbling noise, lukewarm water came pouring out. Yummy. If I let it run for a few minutes, would it get cold? I looked at it absent-mindedly for a little while. I knew you'd choose these sinks, Kei-chan. The ones out front just feel better, don't they? Mion. Oh, God. No cutting classes now. I stuck my hands into the water to find it had gotten so cold that it seemed strange it had ever been warm. Reminded of when it's like in the summer if you turn on like a water hose and then it's like, especially if it's been really hot, those first number of seconds where it's just flat out warm water. I scooped it up and splashed it against my face. Once I was done, I moved out of the way and Mion did the same. Mion, how is your cold doing? You're sleepy because of the medicine, not from lack of sleep, right? Huh? Actually, this is a secret, but after the festival yesterday, I got wrapped up in the party my relatives were having. And well, I had a bit. A bit. She made a gesture like she was tilting a cup into her mouth. Mion, underage drinking. What? Think of the children. The children. Setting a poor example. Which means you didn't have a cold or anything. Are you hungover? How old are you? Give me a break. I really don't feel well, you know. I suppose you'd be feeling lousy either way. Still, you treat colds and hangovers in completely different ways. I was worried over nothing. Man, I guess that's just like you, Mion. Mion scratched her head, a little embarrassed. You didn't seem to be feeling well. Now that I knew it was a hangover, I didn't need to worry too much. It would go away with time, after all. Oh, my head really is pounding, so teacher told me I should go home early. You cheater. So are you going to go home now, Mion? I looked again. Mion had her bag with her. She must have been on her way home. I feel bad about it, though. Get some rest at home like a good girl. Sorry I can't make it to the club. Would you take over as leader for today, Kei-chan? I don't know if that will happen. We have that unspoken rule where we don't do the club unless everyone is there, don't we? We never did it when you had to go to your part-time job, did we? Mion laughed wryly, saying we didn't need to worry about her. No matter how much fun we have, though, I think that feeling guilty about friends who can't share in it is a sign of a really fantastic friendship. In that sense, the club Mion has created is a wonderful thing. As I thought about it, the moisture on my washed face dried up. I suppose we were talking too much. When I get back to classroom soon, I could get in trouble. Okay. Later, I'm going back. Be careful on your way home. Won't wobble into a sewer or a brook, got it? I left it at that, turned around, and started heading back to the classroom. Oh, one more thing, Kei-chan. Ian stopped me and I turned my head to listen. I feel like this is going to go like in a traumatic turn we're not going to like. I just have that sense. What's up? May sound weird, but don't think too hard about it. That depends on what it is. Yup. Knew it. Last night, near the end of the festival, did you see Tomitake or Takano anywhere? I suddenly tensed up. You know Tomitake and Takano, right? You remember, Kei-chan, when the four of you were talking during the setup the day before? If I could, I wanted to forget about sneaking into the storehouse that night as soon as possible. Though hearing the names of people I was with at that time really got to me. Besides that, though, why was Mion asking me a question like that? I ended up staring at her, unable to answer immediately. She asking to see if I had seen them or not? Or she asking the question, knowing that I had? I couldn't tell. Well, maybe. I might have seen them around, I don't know. My vague response was clearly not to Mion's liking. What answer was she expecting from me? There was no way for me to know. I see. Then one more question. On the same night, did you see Shion? My heart leapt into my throat again. The tiny needles buried underneath Mion's words pricked into me. Didn't you ask me that yesterday? I think I told you that I wasn't sure if I had or not. Did you? I guess I just thought I'd get a different answer if I asked you again. I suddenly noticed something in Mion's eyes. Something indescribable. Yup. Here it comes. Tomitake and Takano. Shion, too. He was asking me about them. There's no doubt about it. Last night, the four of us snuck into the ritual storehouse. He knew everything. So what? It's not really a curse, anyway. That's right. Even Shion and Takano said yesterday during the festival that there was no curse. That rather than a curse, it was the doing of the villagers. My blood curdled. Shion was, almost without a doubt, aware that we snuck into the storehouse. Nothing strange. Screwed up bad flipping on the light switch last night. If Mion had been searching for me, it was simple to imagine that she had seen that momentary light and come to find out what was going on. Did you really not see her? Why are you so intent on knowing if I did or not? It's not important. Just that there are some people who are speaking poorly of Tomitake, Takano, Shion, and you, Kei-chan. I didn't really hear what they were saying, though. Unpleasant sweat dripped down my arms, and the sound of it hanging from my fingertips was so annoyingly loud. I don't believe that you were doing something bad. I just wanted to ask about it, so I did. Sorry for making you uncomfortable, okay? I found myself unable to reply. My reaction must have made it obvious what the truth was, yet I couldn't explain myself. Kei-chan, you weren't with Tomitake, Takano, or Shion, right? Yeah. Only wrung out an answer between ragged breaths. Mion's expression softened a little. That's good. I'll have to tell him. You weren't involved in anything bad, Kei-chan. So I'll make sure to tell everyone. Yes, please do. Tell them I wasn't doing anything bad. To everyone. Make sure. Everyone. Everyone, who is everyone? Okay, later. I'll be better tomorrow. Bye-bye. Wait, Mion. What do you mean by everyone? Just then, a freezing cold hand touched the back of my neck. Hey, you're late, my Barakun. How long does it take you to wash your face? It was the teacher. Taking so long, she came out to get me. I'm sorry. Just speaking to Mion. Turned around, but Mion had crossed through the schoolyard without me realizing it, and was now standing at the gate. Back to your studies. Quickly now. The teacher was being insistent. We turned to the entrance. I looked back one more time, and Mion was nowhere in sight. Why do I feel like that lying was gonna bite him in the ass? Just give me 1 second, sorry. The mic was at me. I'm very thankful. Just then I noticed the, Hey, Kichi, you haven't seemed well all day. It was Rika. Satoko, it's clearly because he had far too much fun yesterday. Okay. I don't want to be told by the one who nearly got lost. Your face was all red and you were nearly crying. Chitoko-chan was so cute last night. Oh. My friends did their best to try and cheer me up, but it didn't lighten my mood. Is it far worse than I thought? Had I really done something that terrible last night? These thoughts remain with me for the rest of the day. Bye, Keiichi-kun. I'll see you tomorrow. At the time I realized it, I was in front of my own house. Michan had a cold, right? But you have a cold too, Keiichi-kun? Could you? Huh? I'm fine. I may look scrawny, but I've never missed school because of a cold. Both you and Michan didn't look so good today, though. Thanks for worrying about me. I'm fine. Idiots don't catch colds, remember? Raina smiled, then waved to me and left. Whew. My shoulder bobbing up and down from breathing heavily, I entered the house. As soon as I got back in, Mom called out to me. What? Ichi. Sorry, but could you go to the library and return a few books for me? Huh? I don't feel like it. Jin and I have to wait inside the house for a phone call right now, so we can't leave. I need to return them today. Could you please do it? Sheesh. Did it have to do with Dad's job? Point in arguing if they bring that up. I guess so, but I don't know where the library is. Oh, you don't? It's a little bit past Okinomiya Station. Just then, the phone rang. My parents' faces immediately turned grim. Mom snatched up the receiver. Hello? Ibara speaking. Sorry? Yes, he's right here. And she thrust the receiver at my face. It's for you, Keiichi. Don't take too long, okay? I tried to ask who it was from, but asking the person on the phone directly would be faster. Hello? Ah. This is Sonozaki. Well, the younger one. Hello. Do you have time to talk right now? Was Shion. The older sister had a hangover today, but the younger made no reference to it. Shion? I thought you'd be sleeping in today with the hangover, same as Mion. What? Mion had a hangover? That's so like her. He laughed warmly, but Mom glared at me, silently telling me to finish up. Oops, sorry. My parents are waiting for an important call, so I can't talk for too long. What do you need? There's something I wanted to talk about, but if we can't talk long, I guess that's that. She sounded a little disappointed. What Shion wanted to talk to me about. Now I was interested. And how about we meet in person? You could show me the library is too, that would be great. You mean the public library near the station? Yeah, that's fine. I go past there on my way to work anyway. Okay, then you know where I usually meet up with Mion? At that intersection where the small path from the Misaki house splits? Oh, Kei-chan, did I not tell you? I don't live at the main house. I live in Okinomiya. If we could meet by the ticket machines at Okinomiya Station, that would be great. Main house. Living in Okinomiya. And as she mentioned it, it's always seemed like the Nizaki sisters weren't communicating. Did they live in different houses? Also, now that she mentioned it, Reina said she'd never met the younger sister, despite going over to play sometimes. Let's meet at the station then. I'll go there right away. Bye. I set the receiver down and Mom immediately thrust a large pile of library books in my face. 6 volumes of long-form mystery novels. Mom had her own hobbies. Thank you, Keiichi. Back by nightfall. Got it. Okay, I'm going. I suppose I changed my clothes and grabbed my bike key. I climbed the stairs to my bedroom. Shion had been waiting for me already, so meeting up was a smooth process. Wow, Mion never keeps her appointments. I mean, honestly. Making my sister the standard for everything will get you into trouble. Shion seemed a little unsteady, too. She was drinking with Mion last night, wasn't she? You were drinking last night, too, weren't you? Don't try and hide it. You definitely went home from school early. Oh, too bad. I've been at home all day in the first place. I'm smarter than Mion, after all. Hey, I don't think you can call playing hooky smarter. You should finish your errand first. You don't have that much time. We're going to the library, right? Yeah, thanks. My mom had to return some books by today. Is the library far? No, it's really close by. Said that, we spotted the signboard from the library almost immediately. Was this easy to find, then I guess I didn't need Shion to show me where it was after all. We rode around a bend and the building was right there. Shishibone Public Library. We lived in the country, so I hadn't expect too much, but it was pretty big. The first floor was actually a government office, so the library was only on the second floor, but it still looked large enough to fit a decent collection of books. We passed through the automatic doors and were greeted by the cool breeze of an air curtain. The cicadas had been loud outside, but it was quiet inside the library. The air conditioning inside was keeping the temperature at an ideal level for the books, which had that mildewy smell unique to old paper. I love that smell. Old book smell. I guess every library is the same. There was one difference. It was that people studying for tests weren't taking up all the seats. I was one of those people. Now that seemed like a distant memory. So, I have books I'd like to return? The librarian went through the process of checking them in, and then returned my mom's library card. Shion was going around the bookshelves with a deeply interested look on her face, like she wasn't the type who went to libraries very often. Sorry for the wait. I'm all done. Libraries sure are nice and cool, aren't they? I went to work in a library one day. Don't know whether to call that boring or dependable. A pretty small dream compared to your sister. Leon would definitely want to be a hardworking employee for an international trading company or some other crazy job that involved her running all around the world. Compared to that, what Shion said is pretty heartwarming. Well, we need to keep our differences dear to us. We're not copies, we're two different people, called Shion and Mion. Twins have a lot to think about, huh? Still, sounds like fun. I don't have any brothers, so there's just me and my parents at my house. It can get a little uncomfortable. It's the same for me. I don't live with Mion after all. Oh, right. She said something like that, didn't she? Why, though? Sisters living apart is unusual. We're getting tired of talking while we were walking. We ended up going to the lounge area, which was vacant, continuing the conversation. Yeah. Mion lives at the main house, and I live in Okonomiya. What do you mean by main house? Make it sound like you're nobility. It's just the main house. The Sonozaki's family name's house. Mion's the successor, so she lives with Nana and apparently studies all sorts of things as preparation to be the head of the family. Mion, the head of the family? Kinda fit her personality, but didn't too. Hey, Chan, you just moved here, right? This will sound like I'm boasting, but we of the Sonozaki family are kind of personages around here. Huh? Seriously? The word personage didn't really match the extremely sociable air that Mion and Shion gave off. From what Shion explained, the Sonozaki family goes way back to the beginnings of Hinamizawa. After the war, they had a bunch of successful adventures and extended their influence to a wide area. The Sonozaki house is a foundation under which the entire family cooperates. Though the current family head, Grandma, was the one who built it. The entire family would provide backup to help one relative with the business venture. They were like a huge living company. This let them avoid tax-related problems and help relatives' ventures succeeded one after another using large amounts of money. If you ever go through a walk through Okonomiya, pay attention to the signboards and stuff. There's a ton of shops that are managed by members of the Sonozaki family. Now that you mention it, Toy Store looked like it was managed by relatives as well. Does that mean your relatives operate Angel Mort too? One few shops I was familiar with were involved with the Sonozaki family. It was definitely surprising. The family is particularly strong in finance and real estate, and a lot of members of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry either have the last name Sonozaki or are their relatives. There are Sonozakis in the city council and the prefectural assembly too, since they have the Okonomiya area giving them strong electoral support. Wait a minute. This is all escalating pretty quickly. Her relatives operate shops in downtown Okonomiya, and they're especially strong in finance and real estate. Top of that, a lot of those in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry are relatives. There are even people elected to local offices. So then, the Sonozaki family, it's pretty famous in the area. Yep, it's crazy. All of a sudden, a cigarette-smoking, overweight old man interrupted our conversation. Wait, I know this guy. Hello. Good afternoon. You want a date today? Oh, what I would give to be young again. If you thought we were on a date, then why are you bothering us? Oh, hello, Avian. I hope you're doing all right. Oh, how close am I to Doomsday? 64% raised. Okay. Oh no. Oh, and thank you for the fluid check. Oishi-san? That was it. He was Oishi-san, police officer. I thought it was this person who came to my rescue when I got involved with those delinquents before. Now that I thought about it, Mion didn't seem to like him very much. Oh no, I apologize. I heard a familiar voice, so I came over to see. Oishi-san laughed coarsely, not showing any sign of giving up. Shion watched him do so. I didn't feel the same sense of malice from her as I had from Mion. Maibara-san, right? You're one tough guy. Two-timing the Sonozaki sisters, are you? No, I'm not two-timing anyone. I turned around to look at Shion and plead for help, but she grinned and maintained her silence. Her gaze wandered. She looked at the clock. I'm sorry, Kei-chan. I really need to go to my job. Huh? Oh, did you? Wait, didn't Shion have something to talk about today? Oh, this weird man is here, though. Yep, I'll see you later. Oh, I'll give you a call after I'm done. It'll be okay to call at night, right? Yeah, probably okay. Then I'll talk to you later tonight. Bye. Shion left so fast she was practically running. Oishi-san was waving at me with a grin. Felt like I'd been left here as bait so she could get away. Maybe she was lying about having to go to work. You're quite the big shot, being so close to the Sonozaki daughters. Maybe I should rethink how I talk to you, too. Oishi-san put a coin into a vending machine as he said something a bit appalling. Is iced tea okay with you? You want milk in it? Huh? Oh, no, I'll put some in then, alright? Here you are. Handed me a cup of tea filled to the brim with ice, as I looked on absent-mindedly. Don't think I'm obligated to have a guy like this buy me a drink, but he did get it for me, so I'll thank him. Was Oishi-san just killing time? We didn't know each other well, but he still engaged me in conversation about all sorts of dumb things. I thought about how I talked with Shion. This seemed like a total disaster. Maibara-san, how much do you know about Sonozaki-san? Other than what I'd heard just now, nothing. And I hadn't known anything about either Mion or Shion, other than the fact that they were interesting. I really did only just learn that she was the daughter of some prestigious family. Sonozakis are a Yakuza group with this entire region under their thumb. Plus, her father is a high-ranking executive in the blank Yakuza Association. Did you know that? What? An executive? Have you ever seen where Shion lives? It's the very picture of a gang boss's house, protected by high walls, barbed wire fence, and security cameras. If you have the chance, you should go and visit her. She'd mentioned me on being a successor, but to a Yakuza group? No. Not at all, not at all. Boring old Yakuza group isn't the only thing on Sonozaki will inherit. He's inheriting the Sonozaki family itself. I'll leave it to you to mull over what exactly that means. Uishi-san had spoken lightly about all this from start to finish, but what he was saying wasn't light in the least. It was abrupt and unbelievable. Indeed, it does. This does feel like a trap. I don't like Uishi-san. Feels like he's very good at bringing in trouble. Trouble, I say, with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Mion-san wanted to. She could kill someone in the middle of the street and still cover it up. Not only would witnesses not show up, but... but she'd put pressure on the police, too. Mion would never kill someone. She wouldn't. I'm just saying hypothetically. Your name, it was Oishi-san, right? Yeah, that's right. Then Oishi-san. Whatever family Mion comes from doesn't change the fact that she's the best friend I could ever have. I'm proud of that. I don't appreciate people speaking ill of her. I let my quiet anger show through in my gaze as I stared at him. You go, Keiichi. Tell this guy to bugger off. Of course, I could never seem to tell what he's thinking, so I didn't know if it had any effect. Let me be frank. Mion was suspected of a handful of incidents. What would you think? Suspected? Incidents? Can't just say terrible stuff like that on a whim. Then it would be a misunderstanding, of course. Mion may say some dangerous thing, but she's not the kind of person who would do something awful. My Bara, keep your voice down. Yeah, this guy needs some emotional damage. Some other kind of damage as well. We're in a library. Oishi-san shushed me, but in a state of heightened excitement as I was, I wouldn't be calm so easily. Please, calm down. I said before, the Sonozaki family holds a lot of power in this region, for better or worse. So if anything happens, they would immediately be suspect. I'd appreciate it if you understood that. I know what Uishi was trying to say. Finding it with what Shion told me before, the Sonozaki family is huge. Controls...
All right then, I'll just have to go to Plan B. Wormmon, what is Plan B? Well, we can all become
nuts.
friends.
And Piets. Controls everything from Hinamizawa to Okonomiya. Mion, meanwhile, the successor, who apparently holds strong influence over the entire family. Bill, that's all? It's the only reason they're suspecting her? I'm just doing my job here. Not to doubt Mion of anything, but to clear up suspicions surrounding her. Please think of it like that. Yes, his job is to harass teenagers. Barely.
And the crowd goes wild.
Could talk a dog out of a meat truck. He was the definition of a shrewd, unfair adult. At this point, I began to think that it was no coincidence I met him. Oishi, do you need something from me? Yes, I do. Ichi Maibara. Yes, he definitely does deserve a wee-woo. He was one that you would say wee-woo around. You saw him. Mion's being suspected of something. Came to hear from a friend of hers. Me. Is that it? No, that isn't it. I come to talk to a friend of Mion, Sonozaki. I came here to talk to Keiichi Maibara. It is like he wants something. Yup. I could see that. It would probably have bothered you had I visited your house. Me? What did the police want with me? Realized this fake coincidental meeting had me as a target. My mood immediately turned foul. Smile mix. Yup. Yeah. No need to be so tense. Calm down and just answer a few questions. Keiichi, time to call an adult. Am I being questioned? Yes. Call a lawyer. Can I see your badge again, sir?
It's a trap!
Be on the lookout if he mentions he has candy. Let's call it a chat with the guy you happen to run into. Okay, if it's a chat someone you ran into, then it's a chat then you can excuse yourself politely from. Luigi-san freely suggested that I relax. That said, behind his eyes was a light, which I could only see sometimes that was sharp as a hawk. I tried in vain to run away. He might actually take me in and bring me to an interrogation room or something. And he with drugs and that was undoubtedly unpleasant stuff. Had a roaring good time at the Watanagashi festival last night, didn't you? Don't beat around the bush, please. Can't do small talk right now. Last night during the festival. Did you say Jiro Tomatake and Mio Takane? I could plainly feel myself giving a start. Oh, did I put those pictures? Oh, here they are. The small notebook can remove 2 photographs. I didn't have to look. Well, who knows? I might have seen them around, I don't remember. Was asked the same question for the second time today. I gave the same answer for the second time, too. Your memories are blurry? Can't have possibly been drinking or anything. Here, too, I got the same answer as I had for Mion. Roz, he wasn't taking my vague reply well. Why is he asking me the same thing Mion did? The dark feelings I had nearly forgotten due to my conversation with Shion came rushing back in a hurry. We snuck into the sacred ritual storehouse, a punishable act. It's on a tiny impulse, but may not count for much now. I do feel sorry about it. I'll ask you again. Did you see Jiro Tomatake and Mio Takano at the festival last night? His tone was soft. There was a dreadfulness in his voice, clearly different from the first time he asked. Scared was exactly how I felt. Even if you repeat the question, my answer won't change. I don't really remember. Wasn't any better answer I could give him. Didn't have the balls to say I didn't see them, or the courage to admit I had. I see. Just thought that maybe I'd get an answer if I asked a second time. I'm too scared to look Oishi-san in the eye. I'll change the question. Come, Maibara-san. Relax. He grabbed my shoulder and squeezed them as if trying to give me a massage. No. No. No! Stranger danger. or Ichi should like he should get help by making a sound like this. He's sketchy, no touchy. No touchy. No touch. Mostly just hurt though. Still, why would he ask the same things as Mion? He's asking the same things. And then the next question must be, on the same night of the festival, did you see Shion Sonozaki? And he asked the same question. Same order. Crap's going on. Okay. Hey, well, it fits what's going on. For sure. Keiichi. Listen. You need to get a way out. Find a way to do that. Then then you go straight to Mion's house and you to see her, and then you talk to her and you tell her you're sorry, all the stuff you did, the truth. Just, metaphorically fall on your sword, just apologize much as you can, and then cross your fingers. Okay? And then tell about the policia guy, okay? What you need to do, Ichi, that's what you need to do. Clatter, clatter, clatter. I wondered what the sound was. When I looked down, I saw it. It was the unmelted ice in the cup I was gripping in my hands. My hands were trembling, rocking the ice back and forth. Realizing that, I hastily put the remaining ice in my mouth and crunched down on it. Yes, I am an adult. Sorry, I may have seen her, but, well, she looks just like Mion. Might have just mistaken the two. But that can't be. Suddenly, Oishi grabbed my shoulders and hunched down to give me a level stares. But be what it's like to be a deer in the headlights. I want to look away, but I can't. His jowls were hypnotizing. No. Wait, Kichi, he's getting level. Lick him and then run away. He will not expect that. Then he will be stunned. This is the first time I've experienced such a piercing stare. Mion-san and Shion-san wear completely different clothing. You wouldn't mistake the two so easily, I would think. My Bara. His voice was harsh, the same as when Mion said it. I could feel my heartbeat quickening. When I realized I could feel it through the hands on my shoulders, I got even more scared. He's checking again. Why are Mion and Oishi-san both asking about last night? Was sneaking into that storehouse so bad? Shouldn't have let Takano talk me into it. Umatake casually said to check it out too, so... Ivan Shion, if she hadn't encouraged me, though I understood, I was the one most at fault here. Shouldn't have let my curiosity get the better of me. I shouldn't have gone into the forbidden storehouse. Oishi-san, I think that's our cue to get out of here. A young man wearing a suit came into the lounge. The way he held himself, I knew immediately that he was Oishi's subordinate. Huh? So it is. Closing time already? Realized until he said something. The jingle and announcement telling patrons the library had closed had started playing without me realizing it. So irritated, so overwhelmed that I couldn't even hear it. Well then, my Bara, we're out of time. Allow me to take my leave. I'd like to talk with you more about this at your leisure. We have more time. This isn't a joke. If I never saw him again, it would be too soon. Oishi-san followed his subordinate and left the lounge behind him. However, he spun back around. All right, my Bara. But what is it? 2 questions I asked you before. You don't remember well enough to answer either of them, correct? Right. Just so you know, you saw them all yesterday. We're walking along, the 4 of you, having quite a pleasant time. Near the stone steps. I saw you with my own eyes. Caught my breath, and my heart seemed like it was about to stop. The detestable person. He knew, and he was testing me. We'll meet again. Have a good year. I sat there like a rock. I am a rock. I am an island. Until I could no longer hear the clinking foot sounds of
This
their
is
footsteps.
so sad. Despacito, play Country Roads.
KJ's not having a good time, is he, folks? I was on my way back home. Cries of the Higurashi accentuated the already lonely evening. More time had passed than I'd thought. The orange of the dusky sky was being chased down, little by little, by an indigo color approaching from the east. Exhausted from the slow climb towards Hinamizawa, without even noticing, I'd gotten off my bicycle and was pushing it uphill. I don't understand any of this. No one had told me to my face that I'd done something wrong. No. In fact, it might have been much easier on me that way. It happened yesterday. It really was just my curiosity. It really was no more than a quiet prank. No more than having the courage to cross at a red light as long as you did it with other people. The storehouse for the ritual implements. Hallowed ground. Only accessible to the family of the priest. For sure, I'd seen terrifying things that I'd never imagined would be there. Thinking on it now, though, it didn't matter what was stored away inside. It didn't make the wrong I had committed any more right. The 4 of us did. Mion seemed to know about it. For some reason, even the police were trying to learn what the 4 of us did. Did we do something so bad? Really? Doesn't matter how wrong it was. Did something wrong. It was nothing more than that, and yet I couldn't accept it. In apology to Mion or Oishi, all I did was shield myself with ambiguities. I did something wrong yesterday. Set foot into a forbidden storehouse for a little bit of mischief. I'll forget everything I saw in there. I will never do something like that again either. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. If I apologize like that, they forgive me? Suddenly cool evening air left no room for such sentiment, ever as it mercilessly chilled my feet, urging me to head home as soon as possible. In the end, evening air was correct. If I trudged along such an isolated road, regrets would pile on top of regrets, but nothing would change. Let's go home. I'll go home. Go to my room, put on my favorite music or something, and go to bed. That might sound plain and boring, but it's probably the strongest I've felt all day. I made a decision. There's no point in dawdling in a place like this. Said my bike. Go to Mion and tell her what you did, Keiichi. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Push hard on the pedals. I rapidly advanced forward. I steadily gained speed. The wind was cutting and mercilessly cold, but it actually felt good, as if it were softly punishing me. I didn't eat much dinner before excusing myself early, and returning to my bedroom. My mom called me down from upstairs. Keiichi, you have a call. It's from Sonozaki-san. Sonozaki? Is it Mion? No, it was Shion. I just remembered. She'd had something she wanted to tell me today. Oishi had interrupted us, so she didn't get the chance. Shion had said she'd call tonight. Hello? Is that you, Shion? Hello. Ran into a bit of trouble today, didn't we? He said it so plainly that I got a bit annoyed. She was the one who left me there and ran. Don't say that. Gave you the signal to run away with me, didn't I? Sat there looking dazed, Kei-chan. Wasn't dazed. Son, you left me there, and after that I had to put up with that Oishi guy for ages. Don't complain to me about it. Can't believe she passed it off like that. She looks just like Mion, and yet inside she's this different? Got a little irritated at myself when I realized I was, somewhere in my mind, hoping for the same reaction I could get from Mion, even though she's a different person. Sorry. Next time I'll run away first thing and leave you there. Hey, it's ladies first. Juan laughed refreshingly. When I heard her voice, I realized she wasn't really that angry or anything. It was just as she said. The cause of my temper was because it was my own fault for not leaving immediately. I'll stop blaming it on others. Blaming it on others would be... Anyway, you had something to tell me, right? Oh yeah. I mean, if you already know, then it's not something that bears repeating. Do you already know? Yeon lowered her voice suddenly, as if she were glancing around. I had no idea what I could already know. Sorry, but I have no clue what you're talking about. Please give me a hint. So that means you don't know. She seemed to take my stupid-sounding question as evidence. For her voice didn't sound disappointed or exasperated in the slightest. Actually, it's about last night, during the Watanagashi festival. My entire body jolted as I was assailed by a terrible feeling. Is Shion going to ask the same thing? Hello? Hey-chan, are you listening? Yeah, I am. What about last night? The four of us went in there, right? She didn't beat around the bush. Whether or not I want to admit it, that was the actual, honest truth, and I couldn't act like it hadn't happened. Then after that, we walked away together, and then went our separate ways near the stone stairs, right? Kano and Tomitake went to the stream, and you stayed there, Kei-chan. Went over to see some relatives. Yeah. Why do you ask? We won't make any progress if we keep asking each other questions. So let me ask this question first, okay? I mean, did I see Tomitake and Takano last night? Huh? Oh, yeah. You see the two of them after that? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't surprised. This is the third time I've been asked this question today. Why? The hell's going on? Why are you asking me that? No, Kei-chan. I'm asking the question. Please answer me. You, Shion? You answer first and I'll answer. My shabby response betrayed how scared and small I felt now, after everything that happened today. Shion didn't say anything for a few moments. Just as I was beginning to think I'd really put my foot in my mouth with that response, she finally answered me. Of course I didn't see him. My relatives were with me. They can vouch for that. I didn't see them either. People can vouch for me too, like Mion, Reina, and everyone else. Now that we knew our answers matched, she let out a sigh that sounded more relieved than anything else. Thank you for answering me honestly. Okay then, I'll tell you. They did. Yup. Apparently, last night, Kano and Tomitake died. Sorry, Shion. What was that you just said? Apparently, last night, Kano and Tomitake died. Takano was found burned to death. Tomitake was, well, it looked like a suicide. I found out this morning. I heard my dad talking to a relative on the phone about it. Late last night, a police car on its way back from festival security duty had discovered Tomitake lying in the middle of the road heading towards Okinomiya. He had clawed out his throat and died. What? He clawed out his own throat? That bright, cheerful Tomitake committed suicide? Can't possibly be right. The police did an autopsy. He did it with his own fingernails. He scratched at his throat so hard that he ruptured his blood vessels and bled out. He died in a pool of his own blood. That's what they said. Heard of such an insane suicide. Okay, so the death... Okay. So the death of Tomitake was the same as in the initial chapter. So... does that mean Takano died the same way in the other? And in that, I guess, whatever timeline or whatever however we want to say it, they just didn't find the body of Takano? You can't just scratch open your own throat like that. As I was yelling too loudly, so I lowered the force I was putting into my voice. I didn't want my parents to hear me, so I switched the cordless phone and rang up to my own room. Sorry for yelling. So, was that a suicide too? In her case, it's a little unclear. Takano's body was found in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture. Employees at a rest stop nearby reported to the police last night they could see flames in the mountains. The firefighters dispatched there were the first ones to find her. An autopsy concluded that it was the burned corpse of a half-naked female. They initially considered the body beyond recognition, but after that, there was a quest for a dental comparison from Prefectural Police Station in Okinomiya, and the results concluded that it was Mio Takano. Cause of death wasn't confirmed. It was highly likely to have been a homicide, and she was in her undergarments. Our clothes were nowhere in the area. The oil drum had fallen over. It's also possible she burned herself to death. It could possibly have been suicide. If you're going to die, there are plenty of easier ways to, aren't there? This can't be suicide. That's what I think. It's unthinkable that Tomitake would kill himself too. The two of us rattled on each other. There was a silence as we paused to catch our breaths. As we calmed our nerves, right then I understood what Shion's story actually meant. I think it'll end up being Oyashiro-sama's curse. We all did more than enough to deserve it, after all. Deserve? Gotta be kidding me. It's not like Shion wanted to see it with me. Just went along with her. Tried to say that, but I fell silent. Nothing would come of me blaming others. It didn't matter how much everyone else encouraged me. I could have put my foot down. I lost to my own half-assed sense of adventure and agreed to go in with them. Yes, it was my fault, and no one else's. Shion, last night, when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way? You'd like to post a link? Could you whisper the link to me? I forget, honestly, how I'm supposed to, put links in, how to enable links directly. So I can just, like, repost it from when it's, like, do the whisper thing. I think you should be able to. I think. Just whisper the link to me. Like it's the little direct message thingy, because I can't remember how to do. I can't remember how to enable those. Okay. So that would be the quickest thing. Or if you have any other way of direct messaging me. Oh, did you try to... Yeah, you need to whisper it for me first. Okay, I get it. It's a joke thing or whatever. Let me untimeout you, sorry. I tried to, let's see. Aha, there we go. Okay. Shion, last night we snuck into the ritual stores. Yeah, I saw it. It's no worries. No problem. Last night when we snuck into the ritual storehouse, did you predict things would turn out this way? Of course not. I mean, I thought it was pretty risky, but I never even dreamed something like this could happen. Shion's words were probably her true feelings. She knew she could get in trouble if we were caught, but that was the thrill of this little adventure. It was the same for me. Besides that, Kei-chan, think about it for a moment. Didn't Oishiro-sama's curse turn out a little strange this year? It was already pretty strange, seeing as how Tomitake and Takano died like that. Yeah, there were 2 deaths. And they were both founded. Given all that, what could possibly be strange? 2 deaths, as opposed to 1 death and then 1 disappearance. I mean, that they found 2 corpses. Remember what I said? Every other year, 1 person would die and 1 person would disappear. This year, it's the first time 2 people have been found dead. That may be true, but that's not a huge deal, is it? It is, Kei-chan. Think about it harder. Listen. 2 people died because of Oishiro-sama's curse. Then in order to quell Oishiro-sama's anger, 2 people would need to be sacrificed. Is that how it works? So what? Taki and Takano died. Now 2 people are going to go missing this year? Keiichi? Think. Keiichi is not the brightest bulb. Who died? Always been 1 person. The pattern has been 1 die, 1 disappear. 1 die, 1 disappear. Now there's 2 die. So, wanting to go on that route. Keiichi, come on. Use the brain power. I don't understand why, but when I said that, I felt my spine freeze. I don't think anyone's been confirmed missing yet. I think that those 2 people have yet to disappear. Jion, like me, was obviously getting the same feeling crawling down her back. 2 people have yet to disappear? Jion didn't answer. I couldn't say any more than that either. A chill crept in through my clothes and tried to wrap into a fist around my heart. Cold hands feeling about on my chest. Hello, Sir Foxglove, and thank you for the head pat. Neither of us could say anything. Tomitake opened the lock, and he died. Takano exposed the ritual storehouse, and she died. 2 more people were to be sacrificed. And they would be none other than the ones who entered with them. None other than us. No. This has got to be a joke. Went so much for her to pass this off as a joke even now. That, though, was such an incredibly difficult and selfish request. If Tomitake and Takano had died in a common way like a car accident, I could tell myself it was a coincidence. Instead, he clawed out his own throat, and she burned to death drowned in oil in the mountains. The 2 deaths, so out of the ordinary, that I couldn't possibly dismiss it as a mere coincidence. Well, wait a minute. Burned to death? Mountain? The Takano well could have been a victim of the dragon Smaug. That could be it behind it. At least Takano. Tried to kill Smaug. She tried to take Smaug's gold. Dragons did it. Dun dun dun. It was as if in exchange for sneaking into the ritual storehouse, there must be someone punishing us. Some sort of cruel will working behind the scenes. Even so, I still didn't want to accept that terrifying truth. If I did, then I would have to acknowledge that a horrible crisis was growing near for Shion and I. That's why I argued against it. I argued, knowing I was running away. In the first place, it's not even in the newspaper, is it? Such a monstrous incident would be all over the newspapers and television. Magazine writers would flood the village too, thinking it'd make for an interesting story. Of course it's not getting reported by the media. That's how it was in the past too. When the incident occurred for the 3rd year in a row, there were some third-rate magazines that sniffed out the story and ran issues full of gossip columns about Hinamizawa. Feeling that the region would develop a negative stigma, they negotiated with the prefecture and the police. Since last year, it became a big conspiracy where no information about the incidents was allowed to be leaked to the media. Here the elders and the top brass from the Sonozaki family put all the pressure they could on the police. Then you mean their deaths are going to be dealt with in total secrecy? That's how it is. Of course, the police are investigating it. That's being performed in secret too, though. So I hear the investigation itself is very restricted in what it can and can't do. You could essentially say they're interfering with a police investigation. This story was unbelievable. People died, yet they don't publicize it and deal with everything in secret. If we break it down further, it means that no matter who dies on the night of Watanagashi, it won't go public. It's the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever heard. Hey, Chan, before I said how the villagers could be the ones carrying out Oishiro-sama's curse, that's what I meant. At some point, a tradition was created here in Hinamizawa, where every year, you're allowed to kill someone on the night of the Watanagashi under the guise of it being Oishiro-sama's curse. Someone dies on the night of Watanagashi, turns into the curse of Oishiro-sama. The curse turns into the serial murder incidents. In order to avoid exacerbating the negative stigma surrounding Hinamizawa, those incidents are dealt with in secret. It's insane. Dead and missing people turn up every year. However bad the stigma gets, The police have to draw the line somewhere, don't they? You could say the incidents happen every year, it's mysterious, but the police can get the job done when they need to. After all, the incidents always get resolved individually. It doesn't end up being a string of incidents, you know? It so happens that something unfortunate happens in the night of Watanagashi every year. That's all it turns into. Most of the criminals responsible for the original dismemberment were arrested. The last one managed to get and stay away, but the events were totally exposed and elucidated, so it was, in essence, resolved. The dam supporting couple who died in an accident on the second year, that was an accidental death, plain and simple. They made a lot of investigations into the possibility of it having been a homicide, but they didn't turn up anything, and ended up as an accident. It was resolved. On the third year, the priest fell ill and passed away. There were doctors present at the hospital at his deathbed, and they all had trustworthy medical certificates. They even did an autopsy to conclude that it wasn't a homicide. That was resolved too. On the fourth year, the sister-in-law of the dam-supporting couple was murdered. The criminal was a normal man with a history of regular psychostimulant usage. He confessed that he thought Oyashiro-sama's curse was so interesting he wanted to try it out. The criminal died of an accident while imprisoned, so this incident was essentially resolved as well. That's right. None of the incidents had any relation to another, and each was independently resolved. So, then why does an unfortunate coincidence occur every year on the night of the Watanagashi? You can try and say it's a string of related incidents, but they're not related. Yet every year someone always dies, and someone always disappears. The story Takano told me on the day before during the setup. Now that the curse really had occurred this year, I couldn't just laugh it off. Then, does that mean they'll come for us too? Just like how one person dies and one disappears every year? Saying we'll be taken along with Tomitake and Takano in a race too? My lips had at some point become completely dry. Just saying that was difficult. Shion didn't respond. Her silence, however, was the clearest form of confirmation she could give me. Sure, we went somewhere we shouldn't have, but we were just looking, right? We didn't steal anything or take anything out. We didn't tell anyone that we looked, right? I was already regret having committed such a wrong. Even so, is it really so bad that Tomitake and Takano deserve such cruel deaths? Besides, I don't care about anything I saw in there at all. Takano was the only one getting so happy over it, wasn't she? Takano was the only one at fault. I don't have anything to do with this. Not interested. I'm not involved. I don't give a shit about what was in there. I knew saying so wouldn't solve anything. I could feel myself, my cold self in the innermost depths of my heart, disgusted at my pointless howling. However, my emotions had broken through the dam, and I couldn't stop them anymore. I didn't have any interest in any of this from the start, damn it. What I wanted to do was watch Rika-chan's performance. You were the one who pulled me away from that, weren't you, Shion? I didn't give a rat's ass whether those two were trying to steal something, or trying to meet up secretly, or whatever. That's right, you're the one who made me go there in the first place, Shion. You were all, Kei-chan, you need to see what's inside. Convinced me and then pulled me in. The hell did you do that? Didn't have anything to do with this. What will you do? What are you going to do, damn it? Are you going to take responsibility for this? Huh? Hey, are you listening? Click. That anyone phone cut off with the slough sound of a receiver being slammed down. Shion was just as terrified as I was. I just said some really self-centered things. My riled-up emotions disappeared as they'd never existed, and in their place surged waves of deep regret, having run my mouth so irresponsibly. I could try to call out Shion's name from beyond the disconnected phone, but it was too late. What have I done? Shion was only trying to tell me as much as she could about this thing about to descend upon us. As for me, I could only whine like a child about it. I went to call her back, but then remembered she lived in Okonomiya. I didn't know her phone number. Since I had declared to Mion that I didn't see Shion last night, I couldn't just call Mion and ask her for Shion's cell phone number. I was too scared. I couldn't even call her back. I was stricken with hopeless regret. I returned the receiver to its stand. I simply prayed that Shion would call me back again. Please, Shion, calm down and call me again. Hello, this is Maibara. Flipped at the receiver as I thought it wouldn't go through if I didn't grab it at that exact moment. Is this the Maibara residence? Excuse me for the late call. Kimiyoshi. Is this the head of the household? The voice of a middle-aged man. My hopes rushed out at me. No, it isn't. If you need Dad, I'll go call him. Went to put the receiver back down, but the man stopped me hurriedly. Oh, no. If he's busy, then it's fine. This may be a strange question, but is my old man paying you a visit? No, nobody's here at the moment. I see. I apologize for calling you so late at night. Goodbye. Black. Don't know who that was, but what if Shion tried to call while I was talking to him? I thought, bubbling with egotistic anger. Hey, wait. Give it a break, Keiichi Maibara. These are the selfish emotions that made Shion mad at me, aren't they? The more I thought about it, the more I thought that Shion had given up hope in the short time since we had our conversation. Didn't want to call anymore. Calm yourself, Keiichi. Shion does call again. Then first apologize in a calm voice. If you do that, then Shion should understand. However, no matter how long I waited, the phone didn't ring again that night. Keiichi, listen. Go to Mion. Tell her exactly what happened. And apologize with every fiber of your being. Do that. Because I'm pretty sure Shion will not know how to get you. Assuming that something is going to come for you to disappearify you. And Shion, I don't think the two of you are in very good positions to do this. So the best person to do it would be Mion. And you shouldn't have lied to her to begin with, but, you know, which is important. So you need to apologize that. But even just selfishly thinking, Mion would be your best bet at this point. Especially everything you learned about her. Okay, what tips did we got? The significance of Watanagashi. Watanagashi, a festival of hunting for sacrifices and feasting on them. While the festival itself is remarkable, it has come to be considered a form of entertainment as well. Perhaps it was because of the disparity between being both an egregious act and a form of entertainment that the perpetrators began to believe themselves transcendent. However, I found some very interesting literature that appears to raise questions about that explanation. As with most oral traditions, it's not easily swallowed, but it does mention a few things that spark my interest. According to the literature, even the residents of Watanagashi village felt fear towards this ritual. Women and children would grow pale and tremble, and those of weak constitution would vomit. It said that the feast, the dissection, was an obligatory viewing. This is an extremely curious tale. Till now, I thought that the residents of Watanagashi village were fascinated by the Watanagashi ritual. They looked down on those vulgar, barbaric humans, cut them open like fish, and by eating them, they reaffirmed their own holiness. At least that's what I thought. However, what the villagers gained from this ritual was not fascination, but fear. That would suggest the ritual meant something entirely different. There's the possibility that the executions were meant as warnings, urging the villagers to strictly follow religious precepts created by those with power for their own convenience. Watanagashi village has been effectively ruled over by 3 old families called the Three Families. Without investigating the 3 families, I probably won't get any closer to the truth of Onikafuchi Village. Three families refers to the three old families who effectively came to rule Onikafuchi Village. To break it down, there was the Kimiyoshi family, the Furude family, and the Sonozaki family, and each of them still exist today. But they don't have as much control as they did in the remote past. They still hold considerable influence today. Three families are considered by legend to be those in whom the blood of the swamp demons runs the thickest. The Kimiyoshi family. Kimiyoshi family appears to have held great power as the head of the families, but it doesn't have that kind of leadership today. Current marriage of the village, Yoshichiro Kimiyoshi, is from this family. The fact that members of the Kimiyoshi family are elected as mayor every generation is thought to be a remnant of the old system. Of course, as no rival candidates appear, it doesn't change the fact that the Kimiyoshi family holds mayoral office even through popular elections in the post-war period. The Furude family, the center of the village's faith since ancient times, the Furude clan has guarded the sole shrine dedicated to Oyashiro-sama. They were worshipped as the only people to represent the voice of Oyashiro-sama for a long time, but the family branched off after the war and lost most of its power. It now consists of only the main house. The main house, as well, presently consists of only one daughter, Rika Furude, so the lineage may end in this generation. This is apparently an old tradition of honoring females of the Furude family, so the only daughter, Rika, is the subject of much respect among the elderly of the village. The Sonozaki family. It's said that this family had a certain police-like role protecting the religious precepts of Onagafuchi Village. Of the three families, their relatively weak position can be seen from me putting them here at last. Of course, today the Sonozaki family is flourishing, and the state of affairs among the three families has completely reversed. Even now, one could say that they are in control of Hinamizawa. The three families conferring with each other is similar to the old way. Current head of the Sonozaki family, Oryo, essentially decides all of the goings-on in the village by herself. Late night phone call. Excuse me for the late call. Kimiyoshi, is this the head of the household? Yes. No, not at all. Thank you very much for that. Yes. Well, you see, you apologize for calling at this hour. Wondering if our old man was visiting you at the moment. You've got that right. Yes. Once again, very sorry for calling so— Wait, Kimiyoshi? But then that's the— So is it the son of the mayor, then? Goodbye. Click. So, no good? Not sure what to do. Maybe passionate about it, but he always at least gives us a call. Called everyone who plays Go with, didn't you? Hello, this is Kimiyoshi. This is Sonozaki. How did it go? You found the mayor? Hey, it is the mayor. Mion-chan. I called everyone I could think of, but I came up with nothing. Can't find him. What do I do? Where could he be idling about? I put in word with a bunch of people who might have an idea. Nobody did. I asked Nana about it. She said she would get the men of the village together to search for him. Sour? I mean, it's not like he's definitely gone missing. Watanagashi just happened. She thinks we should have been a little more cautious. If we still can't find him, then we'll notify the police tomorrow morning. Whether or not we find him, though, we should refrain from making any false accusations. Oryo-san said that? Yes. You can't trust her without hearing her voice. Then I can put her on for you. No, that's fine. I understand. Get the men together and search. If we still can't find him, then we will notify the police in the morning. He'll leave it to you to organize the men. I'll be there as well as Nana's representative. Thank you. Get everyone together immediately. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. So the mayor has disappeared. And then that would only mean, like, technically one of them would be disappeared. Assuming we're even buying the... Two are dying because of curse, and thus, therefore, two must disappear. Ugh. Nick Crick. Chapter 8. Chapters were the last one? I'm thinking we may got like 4 chapters less of this volume. Wrong button. Okay. Right now I'm debating on... Oh, thank you, Foxglove. Water for tea, though. Actually. Water. Oh, and actually, I wanted to mention this. So, so as title still suggests, I'm still doing the, I still have it up where, if, well, okay, I better explain it like this for those who, may not know on them. So good friend and fellow, VTuber, Geronimo Kito, so she and her family have been, having a very tough month. They had to take, 2 family members, to the ER because of, due to influenza. Both of those family members are fine now. But they're obviously, that was expensive, and then followed by, they hit a deer with their, the life-preserving capabilities of deer kicked in full force, and their car got, they hit a deer with their car, unfortunately, so everyone in the car is fine. The car itself and the deer, obviously, not so much. So they have that on top of all the other, all the ER stuff, all in, the span of a month, just on top of each other. So it's just so much. So they're, so a friend of theirs, that's actually another VTuber. They actually started a GoFundMe, which you can get the link to if you just do !donate, like I did in the chat there, and it'll take you right towards, link you right towards the GoFundMe. If you can help or anything like, if you can help by donating, I would super appreciate that. I'm very thankful. If you can't do that, if you might share, I would really appreciate that. So, I really would not be where I am today, right? As far as if not for Keto, it'd been a huge help to me as a streamer. So yeah, so if you could help them, I would greatly appreciate that. And also on so just !donate, and it'll have to give you the GoFundMe link. And then on another note, there is I am still currently running my the clip competition is still going on. The prize for the winner is a copy of the game Deathloop, as well as a bonus. Basically it's and I'll have till the winner will be decided on December 1st. So before then, as long as y'all submit whatever the clipping question before then. And basically it's just if you clip the best clip of one of my streams, you can choose either, obviously, one's going on now, so if you want to clip from this stream, you know, or something like that, obviously, or a future ones that'll make it within that time frame, or anything from my VODs that I currently have up on Twitch. You could also get clips from mine those for clips. And there is not a there's no limit to submissions, so you could submit however many clips you want. To be decided among. So if you submitted 20, that would still be. You could do that. I'm not having a rule against that, though, and they would all be considered. So, but all I ask is that the submissions, you either send me the links to those on my Twitter through DM, or on my dedicated clips channel on my Discord, which the channel would be called Cobalt Clips. It'll be pretty obvious, but so, you know, posting those there or sending me them via DM. That's really only my big requirement, and that they be from this channel. You know, those are the really two things, and then, well, that and before, like I said, like 30th is the last day of the month, if I remember right. Yeah. So 30th would be the last day to do that. So yes. Okay. What, now we'll continue. If I can remember which. I don't. One less window to deal with. Okay. What? Packing hot water. Just one more second, people. Sorry. All right. Yes, I know. I'm sorry to make you wait. Sure. And all you others out there. Okay. They'll continue. I don't think we'll be able to finish this chapter, but we'll at least be able to get good time into it. I guess it depends on how long it is. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who the only ally who would support me was. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What'd I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, wherever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. Though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. Damn it. This is no time for sleep, Keiichi, my bara. I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. For that I was finally wide awake. Mom saw how strange I was acting. Her eyes went wide. What's wrong, Keiichi? Are you going somewhere today? Going somewhere? Yeah, to school. Keiichi, you don't look so good today. Do you have a cold? Not sick, I just didn't get much sleep. If I space out and start talking nonsense, just humor me. I wonder what kind of nonsense you'll say. I wonder. Now I'm looking forward to it. How... Felt utterly shattered. I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning, and for precisely that reason, Reina's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. Yo, what's up, Kei-chan? Reina? Good morning. What? Mi-chan, you didn't look like you got much sleep either. Mion had gone home early yesterday with the hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow. Yeah, went to bed at like 3. A little tired. 3? I can't say it. Can't keep staying up late. Probably read the first volume of a manga though, then read the entire series, didn't you? Yeah, mood. I understand. I've done that before. I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Reina smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Reina's expression immediately darkened. What? Wait, is it about the mayor? He still hasn't been found? Nope. Hey, wait a minute. What are you talking about? You can't find the mayor? In the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today. Good morning, Keiichi-san. Have you heard? Looks like something terrible has happened. I don't really know this mayor person, but he's an old guy, right? Can he just be wandering around senile? The mayor is certainly not senile. He's a sprightly man who can teach both calligraphy and swordsmanship. He probably got lost somewhere, like me. Lost, Rika? Oh, I want to take you home with me. Run, Rika, run. Little children do not get lost when Reina is on the prowl. Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. When my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived and rushed to their seats. Good morning, everyone. Morning. Class room was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy. You may have already heard that last night, despite the late hour, the mayor never came home. Is there anyone who saw the mayor yesterday? One or two hands went up in the silence, and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves. Anyone seen the mayor? Please tell an adult about it, all right? Now then, let's begin class. For that, the same old lessons began. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. You could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the Shrine's Assembly Hall. The meeting ended after sun had finally fully set, and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident, so they left no stone unturned. They searched for the irrigation channels to the water wells, and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, the more time passed. The only thing that came to mind was the curse. The rumors of Onikakushi, of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? That scary possibility, which everyone thought about but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year. There shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, I knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. It may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Chien and I should have been a higher priority than him. 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into the sacred ritual storehouse. Tomitake and Takano had suffered mysterious deaths, and it should have been mine and Shion's turn next. This time should have been Shion and me, eh? I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onigafuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must also have considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone, but a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onigafuchi, but not once have they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish bottomless swamp from which no one who sinks can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friends that in the classroom. Now that you mention it, Satoshi-san, he left around this time last year, didn't he? Huh? Satoshi? I've heard that name before. He was... Right, he disappeared because of last year's curse. That conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly. Didn't we search the village? The whole village like this for Satoshi-san too? We didn't find him either. What did we decide that was? A demoning away, right? Yeah. Or he withdrew all his savings and ran away from home. Someone from the police said there was someone who saw him get on the bullet train at Nagoya Station. Ran away, I wasn't that interested in the reason. Seemed understandable in this case. Everyone who else disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything. It looks like I messed up the seasoning today. Sorry. Normally, Reina would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a lot left. That wasn't because Reina's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though. That isn't the case. The lunch today is as delicious as always. Satoko dipped her chopsticks into Reina's bento box and pulls bits of food one out after the other. Yes, delicious indeed. Today in particular, in fact. Chomp chomp. You know those are pumpkin croquettes, right? Are you okay? Yes. If it's your pumpkin, then it's delicious. Did Satoko dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoko kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was. It's that good. I guess I've got to have some too. Satoko's gonna eat it all if we let her. It's just so good, so I would certainly like it if Keiichi-san were to eat some as well. Well, sometimes I have to show my adult generosity, right? Okay, don't hold back on my account. Eat enough for the both of us today. She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? That made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Satoko, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face. No way. You'll never grow up if you give away such good food. Reina, you eat too. Only have leftover vegetable stew, but it tastes great after having sat overnight. Yeah, the daikon radish has such a pretty color going through it. Looks delicious. Guess I'll have some then. Reina reached out with her chopsticks. Last, the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. Was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? Going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. The people building it were bad. So they were cursed. Would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood. I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oishiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be the curse's next target. Mion's taking a while, isn't she? How long does it take to wash your hands? Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left. She hadn't come back yet. Haha, she's probably taking a little afternoon nap somewhere. Think she was up pretty late last night, looking for the mayor after all. I don't think she's eating cherries, weirdly. I don't think she's eating cherries, weirdly, Phantom. Good guess, though. I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. And it was no good. For much we tried to lighten the moods, things always came back to the mare. It was just a no-good day. I just transferred her recently. The shock of a curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one.
These nuts. Ha! Got him.
Maybe I do need to appreciate that. When Meek-chan was really little, the mayor would always spoil her. She was going through her prankster phase. He loved her like his own daughter. She's told me that often. I see. Mion was in shock too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, though, then the shock must have been 100 times worse. Toko, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward. Rika-chan is taking a while too. Maybe they're taking a nice afternoon nap together. Rika wasn't out that late. As soon as she yawned, everyone gathered around her and started saying good night, good night. Now that she mentioned it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that? Is there a reason the old people treat Rika-chan like an idol? Is she their ideal image of a granddaughter or something? I don't know anything about that, but want to see Rika-chan yawning. It's probably all like, wah. Ah, I want to take her home. I don't personally think that's cute.
Make it stop! Oh, make it stop!
It's more of a gua, and she opens her mouth really wide so you can see the back of her throat. Her throat? Thing in her throat? All wobbly? Oh.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more.
Never.
Where the fuck are your parents?
None of
Who
your
are
business.
parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop.
Go ahead, I dare you. I dare you. Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah. Rain is handy at times like these. Finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh right. I'm on day duty today, aren't I? Well, I'm glad you like it. I guess the curse. I'm guessing that's your favorite one, Foxglove. Oh. 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 And it's kind of like, oh. 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 Okay, I better stop that. Somehow Twitch, there'll be a Twitch model come in and have no context of what I'm doing, and then like, banned, 10,000 year ban. Oh. Best ASMR ever. Just doing the puffer. Just do the puffer fish noise things. Parrot eating noises. There's actually a fish shop. It's pretty famous because it has a. You're gonna like this music. You're gonna sit there and enjoy this music. Do 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 do. Scuba dee ba dee ba doo ba ba doo. Do ba doo ba da ba da ba. Do ba da da ba ba. Ska ga ba dee ba da. There's a fish store in Washington that's pretty famous that has see Foxglove can party, but that called Aquarium Co-op, that they have a pretty famous YouTube channel, and sort of like the Score's mascot is like this large puffer fish, freshwater. No wait, I think it's a brackish water puffer fish, which is like half salt, half fresh. This puffer fish, that's named Murphy, and it's just a big chunker, and they have it like in a 120-gallon tank or whatever, and like people come over like to see it or whatever, because, and like even, and hopefully like feed it, because they can. People, you know, one of the things they'll feed it is like clams. And, you know, it's a puffer fish, so it has like this beak or whatever, and it'll do like, it'll just crunch on those things. The loud crunching sound is just, even on someone just recording it like on the smartphone, is like, it's just so audible. And it's eating it from inside the tank. So it's going through water, through pane of glass, and then I love the cute pet pufferfish that squirt water at you when they are mad. I've seen some fish where they can like learn how to do that. There's some fish that flat out do that, and then there's some that like seem to learn it, then use the.
So I went up to him.
Yes.
And I stabbed him 37 times in the chest.
Oh, that kills people.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Bad. Bad, Phantom. Bad. Bad.
Oh my god!
Bad. No. Give in to the madness, Phantom. Just give in. I think Satoko-chan is cute, not only Rika-chan. Oovala. Oovaloo. Oovala. Whatever it is. Yep, time. There's a... Okay, let me get 3 minutes starting now. All right. Yep. Yep. Can't breathe. Yip yip. Aw, yip yip. I got a glimpse. It was so cute. Yip yip. Satoko's chan's is cute too. Yip yip. I'm gonna take you home. Yip yip. Reina was squeezing her hands around Satoko's neck, was trying to get a look into her throat. Yip yip. You know, Reina is yip yip. I can't say it out loud, yip yip, but she's a notorious yip yip. Censored yip yip, isn't she? Yip yip. Sweat, yip yip. What is the censored one? Yip yip. What is it? What is it? Hearing Satoko made a weird noise like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious, and I couldn't help but laugh, yip yip. At some point, the classroom had erupted into laughter too. Yip yip. Maybe Reina was doing it on purpose, yip yip. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcome sight, yip yip. Anyway, yip yip. Let's get over to the flowers while I still have time, yip yip. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace. I left the classroom, yip yip. The music is gone. Yip. Where's the broken counter, yip yip? It's in your mind. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen, yip yip. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, but there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before, yip yip. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation, yip yip. But well, the flower bed, yip yip, it was a little, yip yip, longer than you'd expect, yip yip. It went all around, yip yip. Went all over the place, yip yip. It was so big, one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done, yip yip. I was doing this together with a kid who was also, thankfully, on day duty today, yip yip. She was in the lowest grade though, and a full size smaller than even Rika-chan, yip yip. I couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift the full watering and help me with this, yip yip. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone one liked, they do it all for you, so it'd be cake, yip yip. Okay, and that was 3 minutes. No point in blaming her. I give up. I'll just get started. Thank you, Foxglove, for torturing Phantom. Hehehehe. Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me. Honey, there's a vegetable garden behind the warehouse, right? It's all just about dried up. Water that too, would you? Oh, you mean that curry vegetable garden? The one with the potatoes and carrots and other things that are only ingredients for curry? Yes. Yes, it is, Phantom. It's definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face, though. I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop.
No.
Okay? No more.
No,
Where the fuck are your parents? Who
none
are
of your
parents?
beeswax.
I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop.
Blah. Blah. Right, get out of here. Get out. We're back by paid. What is going on in chat? Oh. The sunlight out front was strong. Hi, Sophie. Thank you for coming by. I hope you're doing all right. Y'all all forgot to use your hello earlier. Oh, thank you, Foxglove. Yup, you missed out. Came at the most critical yet most discerning. I don't think this is the most discerning. Right now he's just watering crap. How long is this game? Let's see. How long did it take to do the last one? Um, uh, Actually, that's a good question. Let me see. Okay. Wait. How is it taking this? Okay. Oh, that's because I jabber on too long. I've especially put jabber. This one. Okay. Because apparently it's, I feel like it was 5 streams, but apparently it just took 4 streams for the first chapter. Although I think I was a lot more focused. As long as we keep him from the... I think there's like 3 more chapters. And depending on how, like, I guess, ADD I am. Like, each chapter seems to be like an hour and a half or something like that. If I'm not too... whatever. Well, potentially shorter. Maybe an hour. Let's see. Great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. Oh yeah, but Tomitake and Takano, nurse and camera guide, they both dead. Both their bodies were found this time. Tomitake had it, had, as per last time in the first chapter, his he had died by tearing out his own throat, but Takano was found having been burned in an oil drum, like outside the prefecture in the mountains somewhere. So my money on is that Smaug killed her. Since, yes, Smaug the dragon killed her, apparently. How else do you explain the burning, huh? Oh. People only get burned to death by a dragon flame, so... Yep, it does check out. And now the elderly mayor is missing. He did not return home the previous night, so... As I passed by the classroom, I didn't know how it happened, but Reina and Satoko were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring while everyone was cheering them on. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The Star Trek fight music's playing in the background. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's how it should be. When school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the Elder's disappearance would once again be all over the place. I want everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Satoko's whirling elbow and Reina's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. That's my pencil box. I'll just let it happen today. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner had I thought that than I remembered that I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too. Such a pain, but I have a feeling that it'll come back to bite me if I don't. I gave up, filled the can with water again, and headed behind the water warehouse. Said Waterhouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here. You couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pill bugs being around. And when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised. What? It's Rika-chan. Don't scare me like that. Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my appearance. Rika-chan? I don't like this. Finally, she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair, too, and her clothes looked as though she'd fallen to the ground. Rika-chan? Are you hurt? Did you fall? No. That isn't it. I know who hurt Rika. I'll kill him. We will effing kill him. Who must die? Who shall be smited? Rika-chan said in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal, though. What happened? You weren't sleeping on the storehouse roof and then fell off or anything, did you? Don't worry about me. I have something I want to ask you, Keiichi. Rika-chan walked over and clung to me. First, I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the questions he was about to ask. I shuddered. I don't like where this is going. What? What do you want from me? She looked straight into my eyes. She's gonna ask about the shed, isn't she? Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out of my own eyes without actually asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers. Keiichi, you do something bad on the night of the festival? My body gave a jolt from its very core. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going up my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain. Keiichi, do you really not remember? My head began to throb. I don't understand anything. Neon asked me. Oishi-san asked me. Shion asked me. Now Rika-chan was asking me. Thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but in fact, everyone knew. They all knew when they came to ask me. Again and again until I admitted it. I thought about it. Pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. Well, don't Tamatake and Takano deaths prove it? Keiichi. How should I Just tell the truth, Keiichi. The truth shall set you free. Never have entered the forbidden storehouse, even though I regretted it so much. Was she saying it wasn't enough? Or I had all but decided what I was going to say. I'm not exactly a good kid, you know. I've done lots of bad things, though I can't remember anything specific. That's all I have to think about that.
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake?
Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. Rika-chan stared up at me with innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. A few minutes of mutual silence. Rika-chan released me. I'm sorry for asking you something strange. Please forget about it, he said, smiling her usual. Confess, you bastard. Seriously, so far I'm noticing a pattern that a lot of Keiichi's problems, like, a lot of issues seem to resolve when he doesn't frickin' tell the truth. When he tries to hide stuff. One, everyone seems to know or know something's up, since apparently he has the most terrible poker face in the world. And then just things go south very quickly. That is the pattern I am noticing thus far. And tap, 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 he went running off as if nothing had happened. She retreated in silence. I could feel her accusing me. Cannot be lied to. Yup. Rika-chan. Didn't hear my voice and I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Rika-chan swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one who had questions now. Still, asking of them could be a half-assed way of admitting what I did. Because that would be so terrible at this point. Rika-chan. What is it? If everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening, had I done something that wrong? Felt plenty sorry about it. I only looked away. Didn't break anything or steal anything. Really. Still, Omatake and Takano, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there's obviously no way it would forgive only me. You know, maybe if you started frickin' telling the truth. You know, it's not like the shrine maid. I mean, assuming it's Oyashiro-sama, and it's actually genuinely a curse with the guardian deity of said town, or something. Surely the shrine maiden, you know, the daughter of the priest at said temple, you know, sounds like a character that might be able to help you. Just a thought. Just a thought. Okay? Just a thought, okay? Just a thought, Keiichi. Rika-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion and waited for me to say something. If I were to admit what happened that night, though, might suddenly do a 180 as if flipping a switch. That would make sense. Rika-chan was the shrine maiden. She was the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? I don't think my mic picked it up, but I literally just banged on my desk. On reflection, wouldn't telling her be more terrifying than telling Miyano or Ishii-san? Rika could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Keiichi. You really asked her, then you should say so. Of course, it's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way when talking Takano died. Say it. Say it. Say it. Say it. Come on, chat. Everyone, focus all your powers and just be like, say it, Keiichi. Say it. Say it. It's like, it's like, it'll be like on, the musical version of Peter Pan, where it's like, you can save, the audience can save Tink by everyone saying, I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies. That's what this moment is like. Pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up my brain. The juice wrung out of it, turning into a big droplets of sweat, which began to fall. Keiichi. Rika-chan suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head. I don't really understand what you're worried about, Keiichi. Nothing to say to that. Lowered my head a little so that Rika's palm could reach it. Say it. Say it. He petted me, kind of like one would a cat. Say it. Do you know about the big storehouse a little way behind the shrine grounds? It stores the implements we use for rituals. My breath literally stopped. Okay, you've confirmed. She already knows, so just say it. Rika-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coercive way at all. Apparently on the night of the festival, a cat snuck into the storehouse. A cat? Yes, a cat. Meow meow. Rika-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me. Cat always wanted to explore inside the storehouse, but I was mean to it and never let it go inside. On the night of the festival, Cat couldn't help itself back any longer and went inside. Cat, really supposed to be Takano. Wait, was it supposed to be me? Inside, there were actually lots of things that scared the cat. John made a cute gesture like a ghost was coming out to frighten me. The cat was both terrified and amazed. Ran away as fast as it could. Clatter, clatter, shiver, shiver, meow, meow. It was terrible. This cat, who are you saying it was? The cat is a cat. Meow, meow. Rika-chan still avoided saying it. Cat, without a doubt, was me. Oh my gosh. So she is providing you a biggest open. I swear, if you don't just say it. Rika-chan, please tell me. Cat, what should it do now? It was a desperate question to ask. The cat should tell the truth. Then it should swat Keiichi right on the balls so he can man up, so we can remember he has some and tell the truth. Ah! Desperate question to ask, but I had sort of admitted to being the cat. Cat is just a cat, so it can just keep meowing and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine? Stupid. Shouldn't it just keep meowing? Jeez. Rika-chan and I have put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly, but I had already admitted it. Indirectly is not. Didn't want to end up like those two. I want to be a sacrifice, like Xion said. Hey, do you think they told Rika-chan? No? Then say it. You bitch. Say it. 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 But I thought, I stubbornly remained silent. No, that's enough. I can't just keep meowing. Dog saw the cat, making mischief and sneaking inside. Dog. That's right. It was the dog. It's coming to the cat, trying to get it to say that it snuck inside. I said that, Rika-chan's expression clouded over. She was trying to hide it, but I'd already noticed her eyes darkening. Rika-chan. Silence was waiting, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika-chan... A raid! Oh my gosh! Hello, hi, Kip. Hi. Hello. And welcome, Raiders. Thank you so much for the raid, and hello, Raiders. Hey. So, I am Virtual Cobalt. I'm a variety streamer. I play a number of different games, such as this one, Higurashi, which is a horror visual novel. I also do a weekly ASMR stream. Currently, I am doing currently I read every Tuesday. I read been reading through The Lord of the Rings. So we'll be doing that for quite some time. I also occasionally sing some. But yes, okay, it says let's see. You're apparently playing 7 Days to Die. So, because I saw you were because you were part of you were playing Deep Rock Galactic with Zipco Gaming Studios earlier, and then so you started playing so then after that you were playing 7 Days to Die then? Because I hope that you had fun doing the 7 Days to Die. I'm sure you enjoyed with Zipco, because I played Deep Rock Galactic with them. I played it with them on stream before, and that was fun. 7 Days is my go-to chill stream. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's great. And thank you very much for again, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you, Sophie, for giving them the shout out. But yes, we're playing Higurashi. Right now we are hoping that the protagonist, not the cute little child, we're hoping the protagonist admits that he did something bad, and he needs to confess it to this small child. So we're all kind of like, right now, we're all like, say it. And he's indirectly confessed it, but we're just hoping he flat out says it, so. I've been very frustrated with him for the past, like, 5 minutes. Wait. Is there an image? Yes. Actually, because I had watched, well, there was one that was made years ago, that, man, it was actually over 10 years ago. Oh, no, you immediately feel old. That was made of Higurashi, an adaptation of this visual novel. Though they recently, like within the past year or two, like did a I'm not sure if it's like a redo of that or whatever, but I had watched the old anime series years ago. So there's stuff I remember and stuff I don't, and obviously, and like it only goes up to like a certain point. Remember the older one that was like, yeah. It was probably like 2014 or something like that when I watched it myself. Which is good, because it means there's a bunch of stuff I've totally means there's stuff I've forgotten. Or like, the stuff I do remember sort of like vaguely. Silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, I remember the knife scene in the shack. Yup. There's a lot of scenes like that where it's like, I remember that. I remember this horrific scene. But we have not gotten to that point yet, so... Yes. So mum's the word. For the sake of the other chat members. That point, Rika-chan grinned. Oh, she gonna... Oh. It's alright. I'll protect the cat. Huh? Thought for a moment that I misheard those words. So dependable they were. Cat is really scared. But it really isn't all that bad. I think all of the dogs are just misunderstanding. It's not all bad. The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. Rika-chan will do something about it? Don't even know left from right at the moment. So Rika-chan didn't look all that dependable. Might be hard, but I'll do my best. Go for it. Yay. She clenched her fist and struck it in the air. Rika-chan said that the cat can just keep meowing. He said to leave it all to her. That really it took all of this whole thing? Will you really be alright, Rika-chan? If I don't do my best, then something bad could happen to the dogs, too. I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about anymore. He'd been talking to me on the assumption that I was aware of certain things. But at first I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. Feel like you should be clearer, then. Then maybe you can stop speaking codes. Right now, she's only doing it because you're being a dumbass, Ichi. For one thing I did know was to not worry and leave it to her. John straightened up once again, patted me on the head, and smiled. I was so moved, that reassuring feeling, that I couldn't help but start to cry. I'm sorry. And it really was a little bit of mischief. Didn't think any of this would... It's too much of a scaredy cat. That's why it should never have seen the storehouse. He was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on a... Okay, at least he finally said sorry. Like 75%. That's like a 75% confession. So it means I don't have to reach within the game and start bitch slapping him, at least. That's why they made it so difficult in the first place, wasn't it? Rika-chan, what will happen to the cat? Two of the cats that snuck in, well, that night I heard Tomitake and Takano's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it. Tomitake and Takano? I gave a start at the sudden mention of actual names, though it's weird to do that at this point. You should forget about them. My spine froze again. Forget? Yes. Won't do any good to remember those two, Keiichi. The more you think about it, the scarier it will get. So you should forget about them as soon as possible. She said something so enormously terrifying, without letting the smile on her face waver at all. I don't know where you heard it from, but you should forget everything. Make your mind as clean as a scrub bathtub. Forget Rika-chan. You know, don't you? You know how those two died. No matter how they died, it has nothing to do with you, Keiichi. Rika declared this in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me, so forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable, and even seemed trustworthy, But suddenly she took on another dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Keiichi. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me. I would say it should make her more complex as a character. And in the sense that she knows that, not unsurprisingly, she knows a heck of a lot more than she lets on. And is an indication of the still waters run deep for sure. Just trust her. Just trust her. Just do what the small child says, Keiichi. Contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me. What about Shion? What'll happen to her? Might have been dangerous to mention Shion's name, but couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her, keep anything from her at this point. The younger of the sister cats? Meow meow. Yeah, the little sister cat. Rika-chan appeared to think upon this for a moment. Hard for me to endure even this momentary silence. Big sister cat is angry. The little sister cat did something bad, so she's really mad. Big sister cat. That could only mean Mion. I recall being questioned by her yesterday. Keiichi, the big sister cat is not in a good mood at all. I think we should leave her alone for a while. Not in a good mood. Words sent a shiver through me. Mion was mad. He was mad that we entered the ritual storehouse. Let's stop having club from now on. Huh? Why? I think we should leave her alone. John ended her sentence with such force, I couldn't say anything in response. Keiichi Maibara, don't disobey Rika-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. Leave things to her, just as she said to. Maybe you should ask if you should, say something to Big Sister Cat. Just a thought. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. Forget everything, like she said. I'll leave everything to her. I'll forget everything about Takano-san and Tomitake-san and what I did that night. Just then we heard a bell far away, marking the end of our lunch break. Guess we should go back to class. Keiichi. You notice how miserable I was, about to leave everything to her and flee the scene. Rika-chan called out to stop me. If the misunderstanding dog comes to try and bite the cat, please tell me, okay? The misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute-sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one. Who is the misunderstanding dog? The dog that bit the mare. Oh shit. Oh. 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 Oh no. I mean, it's good, but also, damn. I don't know why it did that. If it was going to bite anyone, it would have been the trickster cat first. Flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika-chan had admitted it. The sacrifices of that terrible calamity. He admitted that if it were going to happen, it would be Shion or I. This, I didn't know, was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear, and nearly began to change into anger. Was she, savior who could protect me? Or a stranger, trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? I had no idea what was true. Trust the child, Keiichi. Trust the small, adorable child. I know in a horror movie you should honestly normally be doing the opposite, but I think in this case, you should do that. Normally, the small child in a horror movie is not a shrine maiden. So, that seems to frickin' know everything. And will say, don't worry, I'll protect you. I'll explain it to the dog. The thing that is apparently doing things. People. Sorry. Cat is already scared, and I said... Sorry. Cat is already scared, and I said something to scare it even more. I'm really sorry. Rika-chan bowed so quickly, looked like her head had been pulled downward. Still, she was right. I was cowering. Distinctly feel my body shaking violently. So when Rika-chan reached her hand out to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking. I'm sorry. It made a very sad face. I just couldn't bring myself to put up my head for her again. That day, Rika-chan said she wasn't feeling up for club activities that day, so she suggested we not bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Rina and the others seem really disappointed. The big sister cat is not in a good mood. I remembered Rika-chan's words, quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. I could forget the way she questioned me yesterday. Her behavior was the same as it always was. Tell Mion. You need to tell Mion. Just gonna get the worse the longer it takes. After dinner, without the energy to watch TV, I climbed into the futon in my bedroom, let my head be overtaken by gloomy thoughts. I told Rika-chan anything and everything. She had seemed trustworthy at the time, but had that really been the right choice? The more I looked back on it, the less I understood what Rika-chan was saying. Not only did she know about Takano and Tomitake, she spoke of them as if she were a concerned party. After all this time, in my futon, I began to tremble fiercely. Had I been lured in by Rika-chan's sweet smile, told her things I shouldn't have? Continued to feign ignorance. No, you did the right thing in telling her, though you did it kind of like a bitch. I shouldn't have shown her such a weak side of me. My emotions are a mix of regret and fear, colored the darkness of the night with an additional layer of terror. Suddenly, a knock. I might have yelped, but that's how surprised I was. Kiichi, calling your name for a while. You have a phone call from Sonozaki-san. But it's Dad. I reached out for the cordless phone through the gap in my door. Sonozaki? Which one? The older sister or the younger? I don't know. Ask her yourself. Took the receiver and buried myself in the futon again. Hello? Mion? Or is it Shion? It's me, Shion. Good evening. I practically jumped out of bed. It was Shion, who I hoped so desperately would call me back last night. Shion, sorry about last night. Got all riled up. I heard what sounded like a deep sigh on the other end. You and me are in the same position, aren't we? Shouldn't have blamed you for everything like that. I'm sorry. So please, cheer up. I called you because I'm in a better mood. If you're sorry, then I'll forgive you. So please stop apologizing. Shion's tone still sounded a little angry, but for the moment, she said she'd forgive me. You're right. We're tied to the same fate. Making sure the other is all right is the only way to guarantee our own safety. Yeah, agree. So we need to share whatever information we have, that we don't die, like Takano and Tomitake did. Forced myself to swallow a solid drop of saliva. Then let's continue from where we left off. You'll listen without getting angry this time, right? Yeah, I'll be fine. Firstly, seems sneaking into the ritual storehouse was more of a taboo than we thought. Takano and Tomitake miserable ends. Terrible enough that you could call them a warning. You're more than enough to make me believe that. The culprits killed those two, the ones responsible for sullying the storehouse, and they'll come for us next. I know you want to deny that, but please accept it. Be too late to believe me after you disappeared, okay? I got it. Can never be too careful after all. I don't want to accept it either. To think that sneaking a peek at that museum of torture devices deserves a death like that. I don't want to believe it. That's what a taboo is. For those who honor it, one breaks the taboo, no matter how small or innocent their intentions were. They wouldn't be forgiven. Let's report anything we notice that seems strange, connect all the tiny pieces that we have, and just maybe find out the ones who killed them, or maybe even the truth behind the incidents of the previous years. We could find the key that'll resolve everything. You're right. You're right about that. Or you should do what Rika-chan said and forget about it. You know, tell Mion and then be like, just, yes. It's like that is your chance. People that might actually help you, go to them, as opposed to a person that, said, hey, let's do this thing, it's taboo, and you were like, okay. Because, her thought was, yeah, you screwed up. See, she also came with the idea. So yeah, you're at fault too. So follow the person who also had the idea of, hey, want to do this dumb thing with me? Is probably not going to have smart ideas afterwards. Just the thought, Keiichi. The thought. Doing was waiting in fear. Jian had already thought that far ahead. Yeah, thinking far ahead, sure. Even how trustworthy she felt, became embarrassed over how passive I was being. It all starts since I suggested it. I feel like somebody has been watching me lately. What? Might be my imagination, but I'll tell you anyway. I think it's just me. If you feel like you're being watched too, Kei-chan, then maybe it's not just my imagination. Well, don't worry. At the very least, everything's been fine for me. I think. I spoke with Shion. Thought back on today. Well, grand to say that everything was fine. I see. Suppose it was my imagination. Careful too, Kei-chan. Especially careful when you're by yourself in public. I'm in Okonomiya, so I won't be alone very often. You live in Hinamizawa. A lot of times you'll be alone. Please be extra careful. You're right. Yeah, I'll be careful. Also, about my sister. Has she been acting strange lately? Your sister? Oh, Mion, right. What do you mean by acting strangely? Well, yesterday she came to me and asked me where it was on the night of the Watanagashi. She asked me too. The day before yesterday, I think. Mion asked me. I see. I told her I wasn't there. What did you say? Did the same thing. Just dodged the question. Both of us gave a quiet sigh of relief. Since the night of the festival, my sister has been acting strangely. Can't be too careful, but just be aware, okay? Okay, jolting by what Rika said, Mion already knows. You don't know how she knows, but apparently Mion already knows. Which means she was asking you to see if you would tell the truth or lie to her face. It's not either that or she already strongly suspects. In which case it's basically the same. Oh my gosh, Keiichi. You sweet, sweet summer child. Who lies past. Why must you make this a game of lies? It's acting strangely. Aside from asking about the night of the Watanagashi, it didn't seem too out of the ordinary, at least from my point of view. Twin sister, though, saying she was acting weird. It was such a slight change that a stranger like me wouldn't be able to notice. Got it. Start being careful. Always have Reina with me on my way back from school. I shouldn't end up alone with Mion very often. Please be careful. If there's anything that's bothering you, you can tell me. All right. Hey, then is there anything you want to tell me, Kei-chan? My turn. That's right, maybe I should report on Oishi-san asking the same question at the library. The time when we were too slow to escape? Yeah? John asked me pretty forcefully that I was with Takano and Tomitaki that night, and whether I had seen you. Oishi seemed to have seen the four of us together. From the police's point of view, that would make us the last people who had seen them. Suppose given that, it's only natural they'd be interested in us. I had evaded the questions too, but that might have just made them more interested. There was no way I could have tricked that sly old fox Oishi. My troubled countenance would have only made him even more certain. Hey, Shion, if they're the police, shouldn't we just tell them? Considering our situation, I think having them on our side would be a good thing. Shion didn't answer right away. For a few minutes, all I could hear was her breathing as she thought about it. Now that I think of it, Oishi-san said there was something possibly shady about Mion. At least I think that's what he said. Yeah, he definitely did. I explained yesterday. Sonozaki family holds a lot of influence over Hinamizawa. Oishi is under the impression that the whole village, the Sonozaki family at the center of it all, is responsible for the recurrent freak deaths. The whole village is behind them with the Sonozaki family at the center? Please don't get angry like you did yesterday and just listen. I hammered that home before I got too upset. During the Hinazawa Dam Wars, the priest who everyone was anticipating to lead the anti-dam movement acted as though he were unrelated, so the Sonozaki main house rose up to take charge. My sister told you about the battles that happened, right? Yeah. Izawa got together and fought as one. They held protests, brought it to court, and even appeared on TV. In reality, there were many things that happened that were far more extreme. Under the surface, the Sonozaki main house was doing all sorts of illegal things to oppose it. They were acting illegally? For example, they would sneak into the construction site in the middle of the night, steal equipment or break it, put sugar cubes in the gasoline tanks of the construction vehicles. Sugar in their gasoline tanks? Why would they? You don't know? Practically the representative guerrilla tactic. It was used by underground organizations in France in World War II for one. When you put sugar in it, the engine gets burned out and breaks down. That's pretty bad though, isn't it? Destruction of property and nothing less. When they beefed up the guard at the construction facility, the family turned to attack an important construction personnel who worked there. Government officials who had been given permission for the construction, for example, received all kinds of threats. Not just people from the prefectural office, either. Apparently this reached as far as the Ministry of Construction. As far as I've heard, they even kidnapped a child once. Kidnapped? Yes, a child of an important person in the Ministry of Construction who was in charge of Hinamizawa Dam got spirited away. Then one day, all of a sudden, he was rescued in the Takatsudo Mountains, which are upstream from Hinamizawa. Apparently there were never any criminal accusations, but people whispered that it had been a threat to stop the dam construction from happening. Besides that, there are stories about so many different threats that I couldn't possibly list them all. That's sort of bad, isn't it? Well, thank you for the fluid check. Right in the middle of the whole thing, the first incident happened. That's when the dismemberment of the construction manager occurred. People whispered that the Sonozaki family had brought out the principal offender. But of course, he fled, and they still haven't found him. When she put it that way, the Sonozaki family definitely seems suspicious. Oishi-san even seems to think that the criminal was erased, but wouldn't talk, which is pretty reasonable of him. It's even enough to make me think that the Sonozaki main house is doing some really shady things behind the scenes, even though I'm related to them. Are you telling me to believe that? That the Sonozaki main house, where Mion lives, has done all those things? You're telling me to believe it? Even if you don't, Kei-chan, the villagers do. While they oppose the dam in upright and lawful ways, the Sonozaki house did the dirty work for them. Everyone believes that they fought at the front, but they took the brunt of the criticism. So they're respected as sort of heroes of darkness. I think I only really know one part of it. For example, the really bad stuff like the kidnapping, I think only a handful of people even know about it, including Grandma. The Sonozaki family is secretive after all. Secretive, huh? Family's so unforthcoming that even Shion, who was related to them, doesn't know everything about them. Sonozaki family. Unlike Shion, where the twin Mion was deeply involved with everything, that was not a fun thought to entertain. My sister, though young, was the one who acted as the center of the illegal resistance movement. Mion was... What do you mean? Well, our dad is a big-shot Yakuza. Even when she was little, my sister managed to subjugate a bunch of young street rats. Then she played all sorts of tricks on them, just generally got in their way. Mion did that? Now she's pretty laid back, but it might be hard to imagine. They put her in charge of everything from property damage to threats and even acts of violence. Though since she was a kid, they could get her released pretty easily. She learned that her age could be used as a weapon. It may have been indiscreet, but I couldn't help but chuckle dryly. She may have been young, but she was certainly still Mion. Even back then, she had already been known for her craftiness. Nothing to laugh about. Please, take this seriously. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Shion got pretty angry at me. Well, her delinquency soon got her into a position of authority in the Sonozaki main house. Not unthinkable that Oishi suspects them for the dismemberment incident, and the later ones too. For a few minutes I was dumbstruck at the tale of Mion's past. None of them matched the image I had of her. A younger Mion, dirtying her hands with all sorts of crimes, giving the damn construction project hell. As a successor to the Sonozaki main family, he was always right at the center of the vortex of strange incidents occurring year after year. Was that really the Mion I know? Maybe the one I know isn't the real Mion. I couldn't figure out. You know, maybe it just means you don't know as much about people as you... Just because you don't know as much about people as you think doesn't necessarily mean that they're different. Then... I guess doesn't mean that they're not... That doesn't mean that they're not necessarily your friends. Because everybody hides crap. And it's not like she's going to tell you, oh, BTW, my dad was a Yakuza boss. I thought you should know. Just doesn't quite come up. Also, maybe she just doesn't want to be treated differently by you. Because it's kind of a lot to take in. She just wasn't planning on right now. Anyway. Still means you should go talk to her. Say you're sorry. With your face flat on the ground. Maybe the one I know isn't the real Mion. Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't bring myself to accept these images of Mion I was hearing from another person. And because Shion has been shown such a wonderful example of behavior so far. Back to the main subject. I just wanted you to know that my sister is someone worth being cautious around. Shion isn't. Please be careful. I want to understand. Mion was a fantastic friend. Yeah, she is. She would never do something to back me into a corner like that. She did ask me pretty harshly about the night of the festival, but even that, wasn't like she'd said it in a mean way or anything. It's harsh because it's kind of serious and kind of a big deal, obviously. Probably giving you a way out. Sorry, Chad, I'm being... Alright, make sure to be careful. Your sister's related by blood, but within the Sonozaki family, basically of a different class. I want to recognize you how distant they are from me. Please. The more Shion tells me about Mion, the less I understand who Mion is. The Mion I know wasn't a dangerous person. He joked around, smiled a lot, full of passion. Now that I'd realized I held such a view towards her, Shion was telling me to change it. Thank you for the head pet I needed. To be careful around the best friend ever. To doubt her. The idea was very sad and painful. Now about Oshi. Think it's a good idea? Think we should give him the information he needs? Think getting the police on our side will work in our favor? Not so too, Shion? Just that, at the moment, like I explained, the police have their eyes on the Sonozaki family already. Oishi in particular completely believes that they're the masterminds behind the serial incidents. That includes me, of course. I don't really want much to do with Oishi. See, Oishi had found out about the Sonozaki family strife-filled history, and he probably wouldn't be very happy with Shion either. Last I understood Mion's instinctive dislike for Oishi-san. Probably out in the open at this point. Try not to give my name to him. Agree to that, and I don't think there's a problem with you telling him anything. I got it. I won't mention your name. The police's investigative ability to be quite a reliable weapon for us right now. Because it has been so much in the past. If Oishi tells you anything interesting, then let me know as well. Yeah, of course. Get information and investigate together. Who killed Takano? Tomitake? Who was after us? And we know. We need to defend ourselves. Anything else? That's what Oishi told you, I mean. Anything has happened, now minor, please tell me. Aside from my discussion with Oishi-san? Did I tell you that I reeled everything to Rika-chan? You get Rika-chan involved in your crap with Shion, I swear, Keiichi. I will reach into the video game and strangle you myself. Rika-chan was acting like she knew something I didn't. I believe she know a lot of things that you don't. You know jack squat, boy. You recognize. She told me to leave it to her, but what? That's right. I was talking to her, I mentioned Shion's name too. Is that a mistake? Felt like Shion would get angry. Nothing else, Kei-chan? Remained quiet for a little while, though Shion encouraged me to speak, unable to bear the silence. I struggled what to say. Shion addressed me instead. Doesn't sound like it, so can I ask you something? Just heard this myself. Is it true that old man Kimiyoshi went missing? The old man Kimiyoshi? My gut told me that was the name of the mayor. You mean the mayor? Wait, Shion, you haven't heard? I don't know anything. Overheard my dad talking about on the phone again. I realized I shouldn't have said that. Here in Himuzawa, things that happened around this time when Oyashiro-sama's curse would recur would all be covered up. Yeah, the last night after a meeting, he didn't come home, so all of Hinamizawa was confused. They searched all through the village, but if they found him, then I haven't heard. The police should be searching for him as well. I didn't tell you something that important right away, shouted angrily, bringing all her emotion to bear. Sorry, I thought you already knew. I didn't want to hide it or anything. The receiver was silent. Did Shion get mad again and hang up? Shion? Hello? Hey-chan. What? What should I do? Shion's tiny, confused voice sounded like it belonged to a different person than the one yelling a few seconds ago. What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? Shion hesitated for a long while, but then she confessed. Sorry. I mean, I had it. Just that, well, the conversation got turned around and we're on the same side, right? Won't get mad, so tell me honestly. Shion still hesitated for a few moments. Then in a resigned voice, she continued. Old man Kimiyoshi, I told him everything. Shion seemed to think I would yell at her right after she said that, so I heard her catching her breath. Contrary to what she thought, I was a little relieved. He had done the same thing I had when I confessed everything to Rika-chan. So in as gentle as a voice as I could, so as not to set her off, I responded, Old man Kimiyoshi? Someone you feel comfortable confiding in, Shion? Yeah. He would when I was little. Really nice to me. Shion felt the same pain as the rest of us from the mayor's disappearance. He had a different kind of strength from Rion, and as she continued, her voice sounded truly sad and pained. I did was play tricks on him. He would always just smile. He listened to anything I had to say. Such a kind person. Calm down, Shion. Not like he's dead, right? Don't lose heart so easily. Shion didn't answer, even as I said it myself. Didn't think we'd ever find the missing mayor again. Probably would even figure out if he was alive or dead. Shion must have been thinking the same thing. That night, I told the mayor. He snuck into the ritual storehouse. Also that someone saw us, was out to get us. Does the mayor know how absurdly Takano and Tomitake died? Yeah, he knew about it. I told him that they died by Oishiro-sama's curse. We made a sacrifice to calm his anger. Just said it straight out. Right, but then, old man Kimiyoshi didn't get angry. He smiled, then told me that if I was properly sorry about it, there was no way I'd be demoned away. He was really smiling. He told me to leave it to him. Yeah. Till Shion stopped sobbing, I was unable to find any words for her. I can imagine what kind of person the mayor was, or what Shion's relationship with him was like. Words of comfort, however, mean so much to us when we're about to be crushed by anxiety. Today, Ichan taught me that too. If someone who gave me such a sense of security were to disappear, then I could guess what kind of shock Shion was in. I fault because I revealed everything. Stop it, Shion. Not your fault. No, my fault. I told him everything. Yoshi found out about everything, so he has to have been killed. It was right after I told him, after all. He disappeared the same night that I confessed. Told me everything was going to be all right. Found out. We became involved. Should never have told him. All of this should have just been our fault. Only the four of us. That's something I should have told to someone else. Got killed because I told him. Got killed because he knew. Got killed because I revealed it. Stop. If we're doing that, they would obviously have killed you before killing the mayor. The order is all wrong. Her and I should have been killed first. Why the hell would someone else get killed first? No, it's in order. Must be planning to kill us last of all. Huh? What? Not killing the first people come to mind. Start by killing those we're close to, and after they cause us so much pain, they'll kill us. Must be what they're doing. But that's not the pattern that was been established. But you're jumping to a lot of conclusions, lady. I said calm down. John, you're in shock. You're panicking. Mayor's disappearance has nothing to do with you. It's unconnected. Not related to Takano and Tomitake dying at all, either. My words came out as a scream, as if I were shouting them at myself. No. Connected. Just has to be. I told him, so he was killed. He got killed because he knew. I confessed it to him, so he got killed. She repeated the same thing as before, as though she were in delirium. Despite my trying to console the gray Shion, for some reason, the shadow at my feet began to freeze. For that shadow, a cold arm reached out, so cold it seemed that it would freeze even my heart, just by touching me, and grabbed my ankle. The heat generated by body. The arm was absorbing it. It was a horrible chill. A freezing cold, numbingly frigid. It was an invisible chill of fear. Though I sympathized with Shion, I had been naive in thinking it was something only she had to worry about. In my head, Shion's eerie words reported again and again. He was killed because I told him. He was killed because he found out. I confessed everything. But he was killed. Those words echoed through my head like a monotone mantra. And finally, those even repetitions took on a meaning. quiet shaking that had already overtaken me turned into a violent shiver that shot up my spine. Rika-chan. It's Rika-chan. What? What did you say now? Well, the truth is, I told her about it. I told Rika-chan. Today. You mean Rika-chama? One from the Furude Shrine? Yes, Rika-chan. I felt so scared and uneasy that I did it. I told Rika-chan. What did she say? Cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. That's what Rika-chan said. And then she smiled. She smiled just like the missing mayor had when he encouraged Shion. Now you don't know that. You don't know what she looked like. Sorry, Shion. I'm a bit worried about Rika-chan. Right. If you're that concerned, then don't worry about me. Please, go find out whether she's safe. Yeah, I'll go do that. I'll call you again tomorrow at the same time. When I do, you'll know I'm still alright. I got it. I'll be waiting. Okay, bye. Sorry. I'm hanging up. Put down the receiver without waiting for Shion to say goodbye. The danger to Shion and myself was secondary at this point. My sixth sense was blaring alarms in my head. I don't like this feeling. It's really bad. It's definitely bad. Damn it, please be safe. Rika-chan. Receive new tips from the scrapbook, number 8. Their punishment isn't over. Oh my gosh. Looks like we made it. Did make it to the ends of the chapter. I think there's how many? Number of chapters in Higurashi Watanagashi. There are 12 chapters. So if we don't finish this next time, we'll finish it, I guess, the time after. Because it just means we have 3 chapters to finish. Because, yeah, that's... Yeah, we did good time. Almost 4 hours. We'll save the tips for next. All right. But yes, thank you very much for everyone that came along. So reminder, currently do have the clip competition going on. And submit as many clips as you want. Just make a clip of either streams or whatever. You have until just submit those before December 1st. You can feel free to use my VODs from this channel, any of my VODs, mine for clips. First prize is Deathloop, the game Deathloop, as well as a bonus. Let me see. Trying to think.
These nuts. Ha! Got him.
No, D's nuts is not the prize. D's nuts is not the prize. And just how to submit those. Put on my Discord, which you can find just by either in my About Me section, click right at to get the link, or by going !Discord. That will also make the invite link. That you can go and submit those in my clip channel, which is called Cobalt Clips. or DM me a link on my Twitter. So there's that, and the last thing I've mentioned is, so I still have this up, where I'm linking to the GoFundMe for Geronimo Keto, as run by a good friend of theirs, because I've mentioned Geronimo's a phenomenal VTuber and phenomenal friend, that they had take 2 family members to the ER for influenza, and then they're fine now, but ER bills, and then on top of that, running into a deer, which the car just, it's not drivable right now. They're having to use I guess a loaner, I think is the term. And yeah, it's gonna be thousands and thousands of dollars. They say 9,000. Anyway, there's a GoFundMe currently on up, so that's still up. And if you go that exclamation donate, it will lead you right to that. So if you can help out, either by donating or or sharing it, ideally both. But if you can only share, that would still be mean a lot to me. So yeah, and let me see who is currently on, so we can trade into somebody. Ba-ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. There is a lot of people. I'm extra thankful for everyone who showed up. You have a lot of choices. That's me. So I'm very honored by that. Oh, thank you. Hi, magical bubble fairy. Thank you. I need the sense of bears. I was just getting all like the warm and fuzzy. Now everyone's gonna pelt me with sensu beans. All right. Let's see. Oh, I can hear the pufferfish. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I did rein in them. Let's see. We will give the Broasaurus a raid. I think they are a great streamer. If you want to, thank you. I appreciate that. Although I think I think I'll just go Broasaurus. I just saw that message. Anyway, they are very nice. They're a really cool VTuber. They are a kaiju VTuber. I know. And like many streamers currently, they're playing the new Pokemon game. The Pokemon. The Pokey in the man.
Oh my god!
I know, yes. It's shocking. Anyway, our raid message, of course, is tea time. Let me put both versions. Okay, it's not gonna quite right, but there's a version, and then yes, you could, yes, that'll work too. if you have anything tea related or drinking of tea or anything, that I am cool with that. So anyway, we'll show love to Brosaurus. Once again, thank you all so much for your support, continued support. I appreciate it all so much. And of course, if you're new, I also appreciate you coming by, stopping by. And to say, y'all have a good day or night, depending on what time zone is. We'll see you on Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time, where we will continue with this game. Actually, let's yes, good night. And bye bye.